All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. And if another shall come in his own name, he will receive. How can you believe which receive honor, and not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise the Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's go to Hebrews 5:1 to get this party started. You know what I'm talking about? So, for every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men and things to Alahym, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. And I'm going to tell you something, right? We're looking at the contrast of these two priesthoods as it contrasts to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Shalom, Jay. What's good, Zoe? So in that, it's going to take us back to gifts and sacrifices. Again, if you recall on Wednesday, we did take a look at Leviticus 16 with the Day of Atonement, but some of these things are mentioned in the epistle to the Hebrews that is going to be highly important. It must be magnified and scrutinized, so be prepared for that. So in dealing with this, there will be a contrast with the Day of Atonement, and you can see the contrast of the Day of Atonement between these two priesthoods and between those two trees. You understand? Now, continuing on. Who can have compassion on the ignorant? This is verse 2 of the epistle to the Hebrews, chapter 5. On the ignorant and them that are out of the way, for he that himself is also compassed with infirmity. And by reason hereof he ought, as for the people, so also for himself, to offer for sins. No man take this honor unto himself, but he that is called of Alahym, as Aaron. So also Hamashiach esteemed not himself to be made a high priest, but he said unto him that you are my son, to this day I have begotten you. Let me add this here while it's on my mind. I might reiterate this a couple times, because you got a lot of brews be screaming they high priest. If you run across a nigga, he say he a high priest, he's an idiot. You know what I'm talking about? But there's no multiple high priests. Any brew that walk around here and tell you that he a high priest, that boy, the truth ain't in it, and he's stupid. Ain't but one high priest. How you gonna be a high priest, nigga? When did you offer sins for your people and for everybody, and then for yourself and then for everybody else? Niggas need to stop that. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. Peace, brother Omar. It's stupid. It's retarded. The book don't line up with it. Ain't but one high priest. Since I said it, see if you give me Hebrew chapter 8, verse 1. I'll get through this. Shalom, brother Rob. I'll get through the Hebrew 5 in a minute to get to the because these niggas dumb.
Now the things which we have spoken, the sum, we have such a high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the
We have such a who?
A high priest.
We have such a who?
A high priest.
That do what?
Who is set on the right hand of the throne.
Now, how any of you jackasses a high priest and you sitting on your living room? Come on, man. Read it again, bro.
Now the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such a high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty and Shamayim. A minister of the sanctuary.
A minister of the what?
Of the sanctuary.
So if you're a high priest, you're supposed to be a servant of the sanctuary. Your house ain't the sanctuary of God, you dummy. Go ahead, man.
And of the true tabernacle.
Of the what?
Of the true tabernacle.
And who pitched it?
Which the Lord pitched.
Who pitched it?
The Lord.
Who pitched it?
The Lord.
And not who?
Not man.
You ain't no high priest, you big dummy. You dummy, you idiot, you miscreant. You know what I'm talking about? You are an imbecile. And you know what makes you imbecile? The fact that you would have the unmitigated gall to say these things out loud and expect people to accept it. When the book is saying you a liar. Because that's not what he said, man. You can't call yourself a high priest. God got to call you that, man. He has to literally say, you're the high priest. That's why I tell y'all that these niggas don't believe this word. They don't love God. Niggas cosplaying, man. You might as well go to Comic-Con. Because you playing. Man, look at man. You can play with a lot of things in your life, man. Some of y'all play with yourself in more ways than one. Some of y'all play video games. Some of y'all play sports. But don't play with your soul. And you shouldn't listen to people who play with your soul. Because we were having this conversation earlier. So let me go ahead and say this right now. Shalom Hashem, man. Let me go ahead and say this right now. Ain't damn nigga in here can ever say, I told you come listen to me. Not now. Nigga, I ain't tell my mama to come listen to me, you who will have mercy on her soul. Shalom, brother, mom. I ain't tell my sister come listen to me. Not now time. And if you thought I was going to tell anybody come listen to what I was talking about, you should have sure thought I would have told them. I don't tell nobody to do nothing. Because you know who you're supposed to be listening to? John 10:25 says, let the book tell it to him. Peace, brother, don't. Let the book tell it to him. I ain't going to tell you nothing. I'm going to let the Lord tell it to you so you can go to hell for being an ignorant, stupid bastard.
Y'all try into them. I told you, and you believe not.
You believe not?
The works that I do in my Abba's name, they bear witness of me. But you believe not, because you are not of my sheep.
Because you're not of my what?
Of my sheep.
You're not of my what?
Of my sheep.
As I what?
Said unto you.
What he said?
My sheep hear my voice.
My sheep do what?
Hear my voice.
They don't hear me. They hear who?
They hear my voice.
And they do what?
And I know them, and they follow me.
Praise God. That's who you're supposed to be listening to. That's who you're supposed to be listening for. That's who you're supposed to be listening for. Man, look here, man. Let me tell you something, man. I ain't never been one to tell nobody, because you know it's a lot of people who say this, who teach the word, or you can't listen to nobody, but I ain't never told y'all that. Ain't never gonna tell you that. You can listen to whoever you want to listen to. You can listen to a dog preach the word if you can understand what he talking about. You know what I'm saying? You just better make sure it lined up with that word, man. You better be hearing the voice of the shepherd when he barking. You better hear the voice of the shepherd when he barking. That's all I can tell you. So you know what a lot of niggas, man, and I was talking about this on, I done mentioned this a couple times this week when we've been on Clubhouse, man. You know what I'm talking about? Shalom, Bazooka, man. And I'm going to tell y'all something real, right? And I done told y'all this before, individually, maybe on here. It's not my job to tell y'all what to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It's not my job to tell you what to do. It's not my job to rule your life. It's my job to give you some insight and some wisdom when applicable, and it's on you to make that decision because you the one got to live with it. Because some of y'all, I done told you I wouldn't do that. And then you did it anyway. I ain't come around to tell you and try to chastise you or put you out the congregation because you ain't do what I told you to do, because y'all are grown adults. You're grown adults. You're grown adults. And ain't no nigga walking around here can tell you I try to rule over your life. But you know what I don't like with a lot of these wicked niggas with their word, man? I told y'all this winning, man. Nigga come from that church faking, and you come in this Hebrew stuff faking. But the thing I hate the most with most of these dudes, man, is you niggas scream Bible, 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 and y'all hate accountability. You don't want to be held accountable for your actions. You know what I'm talking about? Why you doing stupid stuff and you expect me not to say nothing to you for doing stupid stuff? What's wrong with us, man? How we expect to save our soul like this? We can't save our soul like this. Shalom, dear man. We can't save our soul like this. You can't. Dudes ain't got conflict resolution skills. Dudes don't really care about each other. But always scream. I've been told y'all this a long time. He said, how I've hated it. Indeed, that Proverb 5 instruction, and my heart despise correction. I've not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to those who instructed me. That's right. That's about Proverb 5 and 12. Don't get it for him, Sid. Make it about verse 9, man. Run it down, man. Goddamn idiots, man. Nigga make me sick.
Lest you give the honor unto others and your years unto the cruel. Let strangers be filled with your wealth and your labors in the house of a stranger. And you mourn at the last when your flesh and your body are consumed.
You mourn at the last when you're what?
When your flesh and your body are consumed.
Tell them what consumed did, man. He just told you when you go to hell.
That's kala, to accomplish, to cease, to consume, to determine, end, fail, finish, to be complete, to be accomplished, to be at an end, to be finished, to be spent. To be finished. For over for thou. And saying, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof.
You despise what?
Reproof.
You despise what?
Reproof.
What else you hate?
I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers. Nor
you ain't obeyed the voice of your who?
Your teachers.
You know it's a lot of niggas walking around here, man. I've been told you. Let me tell y'all something real, man. And niggas can take it how they want to take it. Boy, anybody tell you that ain't nobody supposed to be teaching nobody the word, run from him. Run from him. Run. I'm talking about quit. You know why? Because there's nowhere in the text where you're going to be able to justify any of that. Because Adam taught Eve, right? And then guess who else Adam taught? Seth. And then all the way down the line. And then guess what? He had a high priest who was named Melcizedek in Genesis 14, who you thought he was teaching? Everybody. Now you got a high priest from the jump street and ain't nobody supposed to be doing that. Then the man created a whole nation of people and set up a whole priesthood to teach people. Then he took it even further and said, I made apostles, evangelists, pastors, teachers for the ministering of the body, for edification. And you got goddamn fools telling people, no. Man, you listen to that, you ought to go to hell. Because you're not looking at what God say. Man, that man got a structure and a system set up, man. It don't matter if you don't like it. Nobody asked you what you like. How you gonna come to somebody and say, save me, but save me how I want you to do it? Man, that's not how that works, man. See, goofy niggas will be like this here. See, I'm gonna tell you something with a lot of wicked niggas, man, how they move. A lot of wicked niggas move in the aspect of they hate the people who this man done. You realize, man, the people didn't love the people who this man son. Don't you know in Amos 5, man, about verse 8 or verse 9, man, he said they hate them, that they hate him who rebuking the gate. Why you can read in 2 Chronicles chapter 36, man, about verse 15, man, where they talk about they misused this man, prophets, man, and killed them. Why the Lord tell you, man, the wisdom of Alahym said he sent apostles and prophets and y'all slayed them? Let me go ahead and run that. They think I'm making this up. What was the first place I said? Man? Give me Amos 5 and 7, man. That's right. That's what they like to say right there. The Holy Spirit teaches. But before the Holy Spirit can teach you, somebody had to preach the gospel for you first for you to get it. Why would this man send out men 2 by 2? And then ordain men to ordain other men to teach people if that's not what the system is? Why would the system be different than the system that he set up before the new system came? The new system is the same as the old system. It just operates in a different fashion with different offices and functions without tribal affiliation. Let me tell y'all something, man. The reason why we sit down and go through all that stuff, man, and it might seem tedious and I don't, is so you understand the structure of this man's house. That man say, do it according to the pattern I showed you in the mount. Do it like I told you to do it. Let me tell y'all something, man, because I was telling Will them this earlier. I told Stanley it also. I ain't gonna go into an infinite amount of details. You know what I'm talking about? But probably about what is it, 2024? Probably about 9 years ago, man. It was a time period where we might have had to bend under another congregation. I ain't go up there with that intent. But if that's, and I told everybody that at the time, if that's you who is will, that's what it is. You know why? Because it ain't about me. It's about the facilitation of the word to this man's esteem and honor through the preaching of Yahushua HaMashiach. That's what it's about. Pardon my language. It's too many pussy niggas, homemade, goofy, weirdo niggas who want to make it about them instead of making it about Yahuwah and making it about you. So that you can get the proper information that you need to facilitate the saving of your soul. You know what I'm talking about? It's not about where I want to be at and what I want to do. If that's what the Lord wants, that's what it is. Because it's not about you. That's what too many people problem is. You making it about you. It's not about you. It's about him and his esteem, his honor, his praise, his righteousness, his kadoshness. And if that's not what you own, well, this thing ain't for you. It's not for you. And I hate these niggas, man. Because they making it about them and they putting bad dope on the street and people who ain't never copped before don't know no better. And they gonna OD on stupidity and lose their life because they ran across this sucker. That junk ain't cool, man. That junk ain't cool at all, man. It's not no game. You got too many of these goofy weirdo niggas arguing on the internet about some stupid stuff all day long. Wicked hoe niggas who ain't gonna do nothing for nobody, talking down on everything they can come across, but your silly behind ain't taught your damn self how to obey. You don't believe it yourself. Niggas arguing on Clubhouse all day about nothing. Niggas beefing in YouTube videos all day about nothing. And you know who suffered? Us. The people who want a word, the people who need a word, the people who need a good word in due season because they so weary, they can't get it. The people who want to understand how does Yahuwah operate, what is his structure, what is his system, they can't get it. Man, I'm sick of all them niggas. That's why I told y'all Wednesday, I don't want to be fooled up with none of these dudes, man. I don't. I don't want to be fooled up with none of you dudes. You dudes are dishonorable. You niggas is weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, what type of time you on, cuz? What you think this is about? Wicked, evil individuals need somebody to hit you upside the head with an aluminum baseball bat. Maybe put some sense in your brain. Come on, Sid. Read it, say it again. Amos 5:7. I appreciate it.
Ye who turn judgment to wormwood and leave off righteousness in the earth, that make the 7 stars in Orion and turn the shadow of death into the morning.
In the morning, baby.
And make the day dark with night. That call for the waters of the sea and pour them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord, Yahuwah, his name.
That's right.
That strengthened the spoiled against the strong, so that the spoiled shall come against the fortress.
Talk to them.
They hate him that rebuke in the gate.
They hate him that do what?
Rebuke in the gate.
My God, today.
They abhor him that speak uprightly.
They hate people who speak Yashar. My God, today. Come on.
For as much therefore as you're treading upon the poor.
That's good. Come on, 2 Chronicles 36, man. Tell me what verse 12 says. Too many people want to be in a competition, man. Too many people want vainglory, man. This ain't no game, cuz. This ain't no game, man. That's why I told you that the other day why that junk made me mad. Don't nobody know you. I don't care if anybody knows me, cuz. I don't do this for no name. I don't do this for attention. Bro, I've been doing this for 12 years, man, on the same block, serving the same work. I ain't changed nothing. I've been cooking up this work the same way. Matter of fact, I ain't even have to do too much because I just put it on the street how the plug gave it to me. You know what I'm talking about? We don't do no promotion. We don't do no marketing. We don't say, come look at me. Hell, most of y'all don't even know what my name is, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because that ain't what you came here for. I'm here to give you what you're looking for. That's some good word from the Lord. That's it. That's it. We ain't playing no games. We ain't cut no corners. We don't cut no dope. Ain't no re-rock machines over here, my nigga. Ain't no re-rock machines over here, cuz. We not taking nobody work and recycling it over here, man. We don't do that over here, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? We don't do none of that over here, cuz. None of that. For what? By the grace of Yahuwah, we down with the plug. We ain't got to do that. See, some people get upset. Oh, you got yeah, we down with the plug. So live. And we ain't down with the plug for my benefit. That's the benefit everybody. Know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we tasked with a job. Since we talking about that, look here, man, because eventually, one day, it's going to be your turn. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you got to be bold out here in the face of opposition. Man, these niggas weird. You can't be timid. You can't be scared. You know what I'm talking about? You can't be worried. You got to remember what he told Ezekiel, man. Tell it to him, man, whether they here for a bear. Don't get caught up with the hardness of their faces, man. You put that work on the street, let it be known. Shalom, Sister Gwen. Amen, Brother Nate, man. Straight up, though. It ain't no man's claim to fame. If can't claim nothing, let Yahuwah be esteemed. You know what I'm talking about? Come on with it, my G.
And he did evil in the sight of Yahuwah, his Alahym, humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet from the mouth of Yahuwah. And he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, who had made him swear by Alahym, but he stiffened his neck. And hardened his heart from turning unto Yahuwah Alahym.
Shalom, GP.
Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen, included the house of Yahuwah, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. Yahuwah Alahym of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending them. Because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place.
Listen, that man sent people to put that word on you because he loved you. Because he got care for you. But what they do, though, Sidney?
But they mocked the messengers of Alahym.
They did what to him?
They mocked the messengers of Alahym.
And what else did they do?
Despised his words.
And they hated his words.
They misused his prophet.
And they misused his prophet.
Until the wrath of Yahuwah rose against his people.
Tell them what misuse mean right there, man.
That's to deceive, misuse, to be a mocker, to mock, to ridicule.
That's all they do. Mock, ridicule. You know what I'm talking about? You got to know that's that's a part of the game if you're going to step in that part of the arena, man. You got to know that's a part of the game. You're going to be mocked. You're going to be ridiculed. You can't care nothing about that. That's what I told them dudes the other day, man. I don't care what nobody say about me. What that mean to me? That don't mean nothing to me. I don't care about no accusations nobody making about me. What that mean to me? Yeah. Straight up, Hashem. That don't mean nothing to me, man. Man, I impart that information for when it's your time, man, that you don't care nothing about that. You don't care about what you got to say. You know what I'm talking about? You know why we don't care nothing about what you got to say? Give me Psalm 62 and 1. Because this is what whole niggas do. You know what I'm talking about? And I told Stanley this verse earlier. I'm going to tell it to y'all also. When you get that Psalm 62 and 1, run me Psalms 50 and 15, man, on general principle. Come on.
Truly my soul wait upon you, Alahym. From him my salvation. He only my rock, my salvation.
That's right.
My defense, I shall not be greatly moved.
I will not be moved.
How long will you imagine mischief against a man? You shall be slain, all of you, as a bone shall wall and as a tottering fence.
They only do what?
Consult to cast down from his excellency.
They delight in what?
And lies.
And they bless with what?
With their mouth.
But they do what?
Curse inwardly.
You can't be worried about that. You understand what I'm telling you? You can't be worried about that. That's how these people move, man. That come along with the territory. You can't be worried about that. You got to do what Yahuwah wants you to do, man. Don't be worried about these people, man. Hold on, I got one more song for you. Don't be worried about these people, man. Psalm 64 and 1. Don't be worried about these people, man.
Hear my voice,
That's right, Omar.
In my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. You
know, insurrection is rebellion, but tell them what insurrection means in the Hebrew, man. Insurrection in English means rebellion, an overthrow.
That's Regesh, throng and company, scheming.
Scheming.
A tumultuous crowd.
Look here, man. I done already faced that since I've been doing that. I ain't give a damn. I kept doing what I was doing. I don't care nothing about what you doing, boy. Let me tell you something real, man. If it's not a Yahuwah, it's going to show. If it's a Yahuwah, it's going to be consistent. That's with anybody and doing whatever. They ain't just with no preaching. If it's a Yahuwah, you're going to do the same thing every day. The same way. Ain't no changing. You can't say, I'm Yahuwah, I change not. You sons of Jacob are not consumed. You can't say Yahushua HaMashiach yesterday, today, and forever. You know what I'm talking about? Exactly the same. That means you move the same float. Ain't nothing changing, baby. That's not how the game goes. When you see somebody who say they work with Yahuwah or in Yahuwah and they always like this here, woo, woo, woo. Come on, man, Yahuwah rock. Man, rocks don't move, my G. You can depend on a rock. You can lean on that. But he say, man, when you ain't like that, man, you unstable like water, man. You know what happened when water get to flowing. You get tossed in and everywhere. How many of y'all ever got caught in the current? God forbid a riptide. Come on, coach.
Verse 3. Who wet their tongues like a sword and bend their arrows, bitter words. That they may shoot in secret at the perfect.
They might do what?
Shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
Look at it. He said they shoot in secret. So whole niggas gonna run their mouth with nobody. It's kind of how Pimp C put it on Diamonds Against That Wood, if you familiar. He said a lot of niggas talk a lot of trash from a safe place. He said, you know how I know? Because they can't look me eye to eye when they in my face. You know what I'm talking about? So you have to already know that, man. People gonna talk trash from a safe place because they ain't got the nuts nor the heart to look in your eyes and say, man, the scribes and Pharisees ain't never say nothing to Yahushua to his face. They said a whole lot of stuff when he wasn't around. That goes back to what we were talking about Wednesday. Don't stop worrying about what these people say, man. You ain't got to defend yourself to these people, man. Them people not worth it. Remember, who remembers what David told the captain of his host when Shimei the Benjamite came cursing? Who can tell me what David told the captain of the host when that man came over there cursing, man? These probiotic sodas be hitting. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Anybody? We gonna have to read it. Let me see.
Didn't he tell him like it was that's what you.
That's right. That's what he said, Nate. That's exactly what he said. What you say?
I was saying that's what you will want.
Just that same thing. He say, man, if God bid him to curse, let him curse. Let's get it in case somebody forget. Come on over here to say what it is. Say it again. Let me make sure. Second Samuel chapter 16. 2 Samuel chapter 16, verse 5 is sufficient.
And when King David came to Bahurim, behold, thence came out a man of the family of the house of Saul, whose name Shimei, the son of Gerah. He came forth and cursed still as he came. And he cast stones at David, and had all the servants of King David, and all the people, and all the mighty men on his right hand and on his left. And thus said Shimei when he cursed, come out, you bloody man.
You bloody man.
You man of Belial.
You man of you. Man, he called that man a devil. Called him a worthless man. That's disrespectful. Listen.
Yahuwah have returned upon you all the blood of the house of Saul, in whose stead you have reigned, and Yahuwah have delivered the kingdom into the hand of Absalom your son. Behold, you taken in your mischief because you are a bloody man.
Now listen, he said, in whose stead you reign, like David took that from Saul when Yahuwah put David there. So it doesn't matter what some outside nigga say, man, when you know Yahuwah done stamped it. Who cares what he think? You gotta stop caring. Lean on Yahuwah. They don't matter. All these people, man, remember he said, I leave these people as thorns in your side. Man, sometimes these people is just thorns, man, like Paul put it to buffet you, man. Keep your game tight and your mind right. Stop worrying about these people, man. They inconsequential. All they is a means for the Yahuwah to use them to keep your soul on track, man. You ain't got to prove nothing to these people. Man, if you know that you live in sanctified, man, in Kadash, man, and the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach, man, bump what somebody's saying about you, man. Don't even worry about that stuff, man. They doing what they supposed to do, which is go to hell. You do what you supposed to do, which is live forever. You know what I'm talking about? Stop worrying about these people, man. Hold on. Indeed, good sir. Indeed, good sir. Come on.
Then said Abishai, the son of Zeruiah, unto the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king? Let me go over, I pray you, and take off his head.
Take his head off.
And the king said, what have I to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah? So let him curse.
So let him what?
So let him curse.
Because Yahuwah has unto him.
Curse David.
Who shall then say,
wherefore have you done so?
So if these people running their mouth against you, who gave them the mouth to do it? Listen what David's response is to this, man. Pay attention to the wisdom the man dropping, man.
And David said to Abishai, to all the servants, behold, my son, which came forth of my bowels, seek my life. How much more now, this Benjamite, let him alone and let him curse, for Yahuwah have bidden him.
He said, leave him alone, man. Yahuwah told him to do it. Tell him what bid mean. Leave him alone. Man, some people in your life for the explicit purpose, what we read in 1 Peter chapter 4, on your part, he's evil speaking of, but on Mashiach part, he's esteemed. He told you rejoice when people do this to you, man. Don't get your name written out of heaven out of a drive and desire to defend yourself against a wicked, no good person. That's a son of Belial. He worthless. He ain't worth nothing. He ain't useful. He ain't no benefit to nobody. How you care? How many times I've told you over the years people give too much credence and attention to Satan? Satan is not worth paying attention to. You only supposed to be aware of him because like a roaring lion, he looking to whom he may devour, meaning you got to be on point. People, you know what I'm saying, on top of your game so you don't get, you know what I'm talking about? But his fourth is focusing on Satan, focusing on wicked people. What you focusing on evil for? What you focusing on that for? That don't even make common sense. Why do you focus on things you don't like? One thing, the reason why I like, man, Equality Fragrances YouTube channel, and I'm in his fragrance group on Facebook, bro, because of his mentality of one thing, because I ain't never did this either. You got people who in the fragrance community love to talk about fragrances they don't like. This is trash. This is horrible. And he was like, why would you focus energy on the things you don't like when you could take that energy and focus it on the things that you do? So why are you focusing on people who don't like you? Why are you focusing on things you don't like? Why are you focusing on the wicked? Why are you focusing on the king of the wicked, the adversary himself? Oh, yeah. I grew up with that. My granddaddy told me the same thing Bernie Mac said. He just didn't curse. What he said at House Party, he said, they don't like you, bump them up the butt. Straight up and down, boy. My granddaddy told me that when I was 5 years old, man. Man, screw them. I ain't never forgot that, bro. You understand, man, that was almost 36, 37, 38 years ago. This man told me that, bro. I ain't never forgot that, man. That man said, screw somebody. If they don't like you, screw them. Screw them. I'm not finna spend my life to win you over to like me, nigga. I like me, nigga. But most importantly, as I've always told you, man, you want to be liked in heaven, man. You want that testimony that Yahuwah gave to Daniel, oh man, greatly beloved. I don't care who don't like me on the earth, as long as Yahuwah love me in heaven. I don't care who don't like me on the earth. That's irrelevant to me. I must be loved in heaven. I don't care if they love me on the earth. Because I'm going to tell you something, if a lot of people love you on the earth, you're probably hated in heaven, to be honest, 100% honest with you. You know what I'm talking about? You can't be loved in heaven and loved on the earth. Now you got to understand what I'm telling you. I ain't talking about being loved by your loved ones. Not what we talking about, man. You ain't gonna be loved in heaven and loved on the earth, man. That's just not how that goes. Because if the Lord himself wasn't loved on the earth, what makes you think you gonna be? That's retarded. He said, those sons of Belial want you to fall off your. That's right. That's right, Joseph. That's right. Man, you can't get caught up with that, John. That's right, Omar. You can't get caught up with that, man. We ain't on that type of time, man. Get off that stuff, man. I've been watching these dudes. He said, for my love there, my app. That's right. Doggone right. He said, was that God was punishing him? That was a part of his punishment, Hashem. That was part of his punishment, Hashem. Remember when he did that with Uriah the Hittite, he said the sword always gonna be in your house. You know, and that's why David had the attitude that he had with the things that he was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have no negative attitude because he know that Yahuwah forgiving sin, iniquity, and transgression, but by no means clears. So he know Yahuwah had forgiven him of the sin that he committed, but he knew that he had to be chastised for it. You know what I'm talking about? So he didn't despise the chastening of Yahuwah. So he understood what he was dealing with, and he said, let him do it. Don't mean nothing to me. Come on, see if we run that for me. That's right. That's right, Nate. Show you right. And that's a good attitude to have right there, man. Truth be, hold on. See, Nate mentioned in Psalms where it say, for my love, they are my adversaries. I've given myself under prayer. And that's where you get pray for your enemies. See, people take enemies as a stretch. Your enemy is your adversary. Someone who is literally your opposition, he's literally coming against you. Most people don't know what an enemy is or an adversary is because you ain't got none. Most people make people their enemies because they said something you don't like. That doesn't make that person your enemy. When somebody's an enemy, it's a mutual thing. You know you're at odds. Someone is not your enemy because you mad. You just mad by yourself. You need to go see somebody. You almost delusional as that woman who threw a surprise wedding proposal to herself. Do you understand the level of mental psychosis that you got to have to throw a surprise marriage proposal to yourself and then act surprised when you got there? That's the same level of mental psychosis an individual got to have to be beefing with somebody who ain't thinking about you. You got a lot of people beefing with you who ain't even thinking about you. You ain't nobody to be thinking about. Boy, what's wrong with you? You need some doggone Zoloft. That's what you need. Come on, my G. Run that verse 10 back for me one more time. 2 Samuel 16 and 10.
Saying the king said, what have I to do with you, you sons of Zariah? So let him curse, because Yahuwah have said unto him,
talk that talk.
David, who shall then say, wherefore have you done so?
Why you did this?
David said to Abishai and to all the servants, behold, my son, which came forth of my bowels.
He seek my what?
My life.
How much more now this what?
Benjamite.
Let him what?
Alone.
And let him what?
Curse, for Yahuwah have bidden. That
and
was a mark for that word, bidden.
That means to speak.
Man.
You know what I'm talking about? It said, and it may be what?
That Yahuwah will look on my affliction.
And that Yahuwah will what?
Requite me good for his cursing this day.
You see his attitude? He said imaginary ops is crazy work. But you know, it's a lot of people got imaginary ops. You got some of y'all got ops right now. You don't know it. It's somebody walking around here mad with you right now. They ain't never told you they was mad. They ain't never said nothing about being mad. They just mad with you. You a whole enemy to them, but they forgot to inform you. That's not an op, cuz. You homoerotic. You know what I'm talking about? That's what you is. He said, must have got engaged to her split person. Bro, I seen that real, bro. I said, bro, this baby, I said, baby, crazy. Baby threw a surprise engagement to herself. It wasn't even the fact that she threw an engagement to herself. It's that she feigned surprise. And she wonder why she ain't got no man. And it was women, y'all just don't understand what that means. That's a form of self-love. No, baby, you can't clean that up. She crazy. She's crazy. You know what I'm talking about? She is crazy. Ain't no way around that. There's no way you can justify that to me. This ain't about nothing about, oh, these modern women or nothing. Baby, that is disturbing on a multitude of levels. You know what I'm talking about? To any sane, whole, healthy, and functional human being. You can't justify that. That person's crazy. Come on, man. What was the other joint we had? Oh, yeah.
Psalms 50 and 15.
Yeah, give me Psalms 50 and 15 and Luke 12, man. We get back on track. Psalms 50 and 15, y'all.
And call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you shall esteem me.
That's
For
right.
unto the wicked, Alahym said.
Unto the who?
Unto the wicked, Alahym said.
What he said to him?
What have you to do to declare my statutes?
What you doing declaring my word, boy?
Or you should take my covenant in your mouth.
Why you got my covenant in your teeth?
Seeing you hate instruction.
You hate being corrected.
And cast my words behind you.
And you don't listen to nothing I say.
When you saw a thief, then you consented with
Now
him.
you down with Judas.
And have been partakers with adulterers.
And you like to deal with dudes who sleep with other men's wives.
You give your mouth to evil and your tongue frames
You
deceit.
always telling lies and speaking about things.
You sit and speak against your brother.
You talk against your brother.
You slander your own mother's son.
You lie on your own mother's son.
These have you done, and I kept silent.
He said, and when you did it, I ain't say a word.
You thought that I was altogether as yourself.
And because I ain't say nothing, you thought I was a wicked, dishonorable man like you.
I will reprove you.
Now I gotta check you,
and
sucker.
set in order before your eyes.
And let me get it right for you.
Now consider this, you that forget Alahym, lest
What's
I tear
that?
in pieces.
Lest I destroy
And
you.
none to deliver.
Ain't nobody gonna say.
Whoso offer praise, esteem me. And
Whoso offer what?
praise,
Do what?
esteem me.
What he gonna do after that?
To him that order conversation will I show the salvation of Alahym.
Tell him what order conversation mean, man. We ain't talked about that verse in a long time. You did? You know what I'm saying? I told you, man, what this is. Month of August.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all willing, man, as forth as the labor that we doing now, October be 12 years. See, we ain't like other people do congregation anniversaries. That's goofy stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Now, we've been pitching work a little longer than 12, but I'm talking about in the current format like we doing right now. And it started one day a week, man. Friday night, excuse me. That's it, just Friday night. Other days got added on because that's what the people requested. You know what I'm talking about? 12 years running. You know what I'm talking about? And y'all willing, we'll do another 12. I may not be here for it. You know what I'm talking about? But y'all willing, we'll do another 12. But the point of the matter is, the dope gonna get sold. You understand what I'm telling you? And we ain't talking about dope like crack, baby. We talking about dope like that word of Yahuwah, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Get your mind right and your soul tight. But see, a lot of people take what the Lord said in vain, man. You know what he told you? He say, straight is the gate and narrow is the way. And few be there that find it. Now you got all these niggas and you think they walking in a straight way, and he said it's different. You got to be crazy. You got to be crazy. That man say straight is the gate and narrow is the way, and few gonna find. You know why? What's going on this? You know why? Because everybody ain't willing to do what's necessary. Everybody don't like it tight. I've been told you that. People like it loose. They like loose coochie, loose booty, and loose clothes. They don't like it tight. They don't want it to fit right. You want to be out here living sloppy. You know what I'm talking about? You don't like let's hear, man. We talking about no skinny pants. We talking about pants that fit, tailored to your body, baby. A lot of people don't like it tight, man. They like it loose because you want room to be rude. You want room to be disobedient. You want room to be unfaithful. See, when it's tight, you got to keep it right. You ain't got nowhere to move, baby. You ain't got nowhere to move. It's got to be how it's going to be. That's right, indeed, Bazooka, and the few that's looking for it. You know what I'm talking about? Man, a lot of people don't like. See, when you talking about tight, you talking about it's a restricted way. It's disciplined. It's disciplined. And when you look at most things in life, man, most people aren't disciplined. That's why he said you got to sit down and count the cost when you got sufficient to pay. You got to make sure this is what you own. This is what you want. See, everybody came in, oh, we're going to take the kingdom. But this ain't what you want. Man, Benjamin, you got to be hungry like the werewolf of London out here. You understand what I'm telling you, man? That man say those who hunger and thirst after righteousness going to be filled. I'm Yahuwah, your Alahym. Open your mouth wide and I'm going to fill it. Well, you got to be hungry like the werewolf of London. And you can't be hungry for a little while. You got to be hungry every day. But what I told y'all boy this afternoon, man, you know what I'm talking about? You know what a lot of dudes don't do out here on these streets, man? Every day the Lord allow you to wake up, boy, you got a chance to be better. See, I ain't talking about necessarily being great because only a few people going to be great at anything in life. But you got a chance to be better every day. And a lot of niggas fumble the ball with that. You don't take advantage that every day you could be a better servant to your God. You could be a better husband. You could be a better father. You could be a better son. You could be a better brother. You could be a better employee. You could be a better businessman. You could be better in the gym. Whatever it is. You could be a better singer, a better rhymer, whatever, a better musician. Anything that it is that you do, a better teacher. Every day to how I can be better than I was the day before. And niggas is wasting that. Playing games. That ain't no man. Men seek to improve. You're never satisfied. See, we ain't talking about never satisfied, how they say women aren't satisfied. Meaning that I haven't reached the apex of what I could do. We're not talking about having a level of discontent, knowing that, okay, I benched 220 today, I could do 225 tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I was better at resisting my flesh as it pertains to lust towards women, but tomorrow I'm going to be better about holding my peace when I should be quiet instead of speaking. You know what I'm saying? How can I be better? I'm looking constantly to improve. Every day you alive, you get a chance to be better than what you was the day before. You understand how great of a blessing that is? You can't waste that. And you got men out here wasting that, man. That's right, Omar. Don't be slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. Remember, he said, man, you done forgot your first love, man. He said, man, you got things, you need to strengthen the things that's ready to die. A lot of people, they get in the word, they say sometimes you lose your fire. You only lost your fire because this ain't what you wanted to do. How you lose your fire at the things that you want to do? Bro, I've been in the gym for 17 years. Well, 12 really. 5 of them, I was in prison. You know what I'm saying? A couple of them I was in prison. And in a couple of years, I had to do calisthenics on the street. You know what I'm saying? But I've been training for 17 years, man. And I promise to you, who is my witness, I can only count on sparingly why I didn't feel like going to the gym. Anybody who know me know I be ready to go. You know what I'm talking about? Ready. Look forward to it. Don't let me get a new program. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I'm ready to go. Ain't nobody be like, oh, you going to the gym today? Every day, bro. I done went to the gym. I work all day. Still going. You know what I'm talking about? Still going. I'm not skipping out on that. Love to do it. Love to go. I love everything about it. Everything about it. And I'm not talking about doing that for cash. That's for me, man. I ain't got to train nobody. I don't want to get paid. This is something I do for me. I love it. This and what I'm doing, that and what I'm doing right now. You ain't got to give me no money, man. Most of y'all know there ain't anybody been giving me no money like that, bro. I've been here 12 years short every time. It don't matter what I got going on. I'm going to be here. If the Lord allow, I'm going to be here. Y'all know my mama died. I was here. You know what I'm talking about? I got stuff going on. You may not even know about it. Don't matter. I'm here. Love to do it. Ain't never been no day I don't feel like preaching today. Never. That ain't never happened. God forbid it ever do. You know what I'm talking about? So you got to make sure that same attitude with your soul, whether you preaching or not. You got to have, man, you got to love for the word, man. You got to love that. You got to love that. When I'm talking about love that, it ain't no, oh, I only want to hear me preach. I got to love for the word, man. I listen to anybody at the word with them. I got to love for the word, my G. I love the word, cuz. I don't care who dropping it. That don't mean nothing to me. It just got to be right and exact according to the righteousness of Alahym. That's it. See, a lot of niggas haters, man. They get the nuts crossed, man. They don't really got. They in competition. You can compete in a lot of things. We don't compete in the word. That's sucker stuff. We don't do that. We don't do that. I don't run up to nobody and be like, "See, you heard what he said? I taught him that." That's sucker stuff. That's what lame niggas do. Who cares who taught him? Is the word getting preached? Is the Father name being esteemed through the teaching of his son? Is the soul being saved? Is understanding being added to? That's what matters. You got to pay. I'm telling you this stuff because you need to be paying attention to this type of stuff so you can see who don't work for him. We got to stop playing game, man. We got to stop doing that, man. We losing souls out here, man. And for what? And for what? My God, today. Come on, bro. Where we at?
The word to order was to put, that's soon. That's to put, place, set, or point. And then conversation was the rock.
That's your way of life. If you can set your way of life in order, he'll show you his son. That's what he'll do. We got one more thing, man. It's not Luke 12, my G. It's Luke 11 and 45. And after that, we come back to Hebrews 5, so you can read it at this point. No, I'm going to finish it. That's my job. I ain't doing it.
Then answered one of the lawyers and said unto him, Master, thus saith you reproach us also. And he said, Woe unto you also, lawyers, for you laid men with burdens grievously borne. You yourselves touch not the burdens with one of your fingers.
Hold on. What you would think about said? I ain't even catch that. Go ahead.
Woe unto you, for you build the sepulchres of the prophets.
You do what?
You build the sepulchres of the prophets.
And your fathers
killed them.
And you truly
bear witness
that you allow
the deeds of your fathers.
For they indeed killed them.
And you build their sepulchres.
Therefore also
said the wisdom of Alahym.
I will send them what?
Prophets and apostles.
And some of them you'll what?
They shall slay and persecute.
That's just what they're going to do, my G. This just come with the game. It just come with the game. In John 16, he told the how to make pinpoint and make it so. For sure, bro. And when I tell y'all that you gotta, that's why I say don't put so much pressure on yourself to I need to do this and I need to do that. Every day that the man say his mercies are new every morning. So every day that you alive is a day you have the opportunity to improve. Remember, you can't worry about yesterday because yesterday gone. You can't worry about tomorrow because it ain't here. So the only thing that you can worry about is the day that you in. And if you can maximize that day to be a better version of yourself than you were the day before, then you did good. You don't got to put all this pressure on yourself. You know what I'm saying, man? That man told you, man, this ain't no marathon, baby. This is not no sprint. This is a marathon, baby. You got to take your time and do it right. Ain't that what the song say? Take your time, baby, do it right. You can do it, baby. You can do it tonight. You know what I'm talking about? You just got to take your time, man. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Take your time. Execute. Study your playbook. Learn to play. Execute. That's all. You know what I'm saying? Okay, if you didn't run the play right the first time, it's okay. He gave you another chance to come back and practice and run it again. You know what I'm talking about? Run it again. And run it again, and run it again, and run it again. Until it's second nature to you, baby. It's instinct. That's why we hear 3 times a week. Come on, my G. Oh, matter of fact, that's good. Let's come back to Hebrews 5. That's all I want. Because I need to get this Day of Atonement work out here, man. Man, we ain't spliced through Day of Atonement, Leviticus 16 in great detail, if my memory serves me correctly, since by 2015. Maybe 2014. The reason why it's in my brain, because that's when my big homie died, man. He drowned and right around trumpets. I want to say 2015. Yeah, it was 2015. You know what I'm saying? That's when he died. You know what I'm saying? And I remember we went through that Leviticus 16. Well, it's on the channel somewhere. It's on one of them. I can't tell you. You know what I'm saying? It's 3 of them. Look it up. Because if I told you what it was, I'd be lying to you. You know what I'm saying? That's right. Got to let patience have a perfect work, man. You'll be perfect and entire. You won't be lacking for nothing, my G. Nothing. Come on, man. Hebrews 5:1. For every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men and things to Alahym, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. Excuse me. Who can have compassion on the ignorant and them that are out of the way? For he that himself is also compassed with infirmity. And by reason hereof, he ought, as for the people, so also for himself, to offer for sins. And no man take this honor unto himself, but he that is called of Alahym, as Aaron. So also Hamashiach esteemed not himself to be made a high priest. But he said unto him, You are my son, today have I begotten you. He said in another place, You are a priest forever after the order of Melcizedek, whom the days of his flesh, when he offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him, that was able to save him from death, and he was heard, and that he feared. And though he were a son, learned he obedience by the things which he suffered, and being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all that obey him. Called of Alahym a high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Now, I'm going to ask all this question. Do you want us to reiterate how he's a priest after the order of Melchizedek? I did say we were going to do John 19 on Wednesday. Praise the Lord, he brought that back to mind. So, do you want us to go to Zechariah 6 and the thing to validate that? Or would you just like for us to just go straight into offerings and sacrifices? Hold on. Where Boop at? Which one you want, Boop? Where my muffin at? Which one you want, little muffin? No, I'm asking both of y'all.
Okay, you said.
Do you want us to go ahead and set the fundamentals of how Mashiach is going to be called a priest after the order of Melchizedek from the law of the prophets, or just go straight into the offerings of gifts and sacrifices?
The first.
Very well then. Where my muffin at? Which one you want, muffin? I need to call my muffin. Where your phone at? Bring your phone and call my muffin. I'm going to ask him. Call my baby Rocksteady. Baby ain't no.
Hi.
Hey, muffin. Which one you want, baby? Huh?
What's up?
What'd you say?
Oh, yeah.
What are the options I mean?
No. Do you want us to go through the law and the prophets and show how he's a priest after the order of Melchizedek, or go straight into the gifts and sacrifices? I can hear myself.
I said the first one.
Very well. Boop and Muffin has spoken. So come on. Give me Genesis 14 and 17. Well, 14 and 14.
And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his train, born in his own house, 318, and
Go to
pursued unto
17.
Dan.
Let's do that. Genesis 14 and 17.
And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedalamer and of the kings that were with him in the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he, the priest of the Most High Alahym.
He's the priest of the who?
Most High Alahym.
Listen.
And he baruched him and said, Baruch Abram of the Most High Alahym, possessor of Shamahim and earth. Baruch be the Most High Alahym, which have delivered your enemies into your hand.
Pause. Now, we started some of this the other day. I'm going to do it again. Genesis 49 and 8. After Genesis 49 and 8, read me Hebrews 7 and 12.
Yehuda, you whom your brethren shall praise, your hand in the neck of your enemies, your father's children shall bow down before you. Yehuda, a lion's whelp from the prey, my son, you are gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion and as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up?
Listen what he finna say.
The scepter shall not depart from Yehuda.
You know kings hold scepters, correct? And what else?
Nor a lawgiver from between his feet.
They say he a lawgiver. So dude telling you this about Negroes in America, this telling you how this man from Judah gonna be king and priest together, or from the order of Melchizedek. This already been set. Y'all know Isaiah 33 and 22 say Yahuwah is our lawgiver, Yahuwah is our judge, Yahuwah is our king. Melchizedek, king and priest, reigning together. But they don't want to hear that though. You understand? I got more for you. Let Yahuwah be esteemed. Give me Isaiah 16 and 1. Man, I ain't playing with these niggas tonight. These niggas make me sick.
Send you the lamb to the ruler of the land from Selah to the wilderness unto the mountain of the daughter of Zion. For it shall be as a wandering bird cast out of the nest. The daughters of Moab shall be as at the fords of Arnon. Take counsel, execute judgment. Make your shadow as the night in the midst of the noonday. Hide your outcast. Bewray him not that wander. Let my outcast dwell with you, Moab. Be you a covert to them from the face of the spoiler, for the extortioner is at an end. The spoilers cease, the oppressors are consumed out of the land.
I think that's good enough. So when you catch with that, you also see what? King and priest sitting on the throne, judging and ruling. Because priests judge. That's what they do. It's part of their job. You know what I'm talking about? We could go through things in the law with that. For time's sake, I'll save it, y'all willing, for on tomorrow if it come back to mind. Get me Jeremiah 23 and 3. Tell me what Jeremiah 23 and 3 say, man. Then we go to Zechariah 6, man. Hold on. You didn't read Hebrews 7 and 12. That's my bad. Hebrews 7 and 12 will give you some more insight into what you heard in Genesis 49, so you knew that this was coming.
For the priesthood being changed.
The priesthood being what?
Being changed.
See, what a lot of individuals don't realize is the original priesthood was never Levitical. It was always Melchizedek. So what you're seeing is not a change per se, but a reverting back to the original intent. It's the reverting back. But most Israelites are so carnal, they're not going to pick up on that. It's going back to the original intent. It's going back to Yahuwah being your king and judge, like it says in Isaiah 33. Go to get Isaiah 33 and 22 for me. Now watch it say the same thing Genesis 49 say. Some of y'all already know this, but this is for those who don't.
For Yahuwah our judge, Yahuwah our lawgiver, Yahuwah our king.
That's Melchizedek. If you king and lawgiver together, how do we know this? Because Malachi 2 tell you that the priest's lips should keep knowledge and the people should seek the law at his mouth. But the priest wasn't a king. Now come on to Hebrews 7 and 12. Make it 10, man. It ain't gonna hurt. Make it 9. 9 in my brain. Hebrews 7 and 9.
And as I may so say, Levi also, who received tithes, paid tithes in Abraham, for he was yet in the loins of his father when Melchizedek met him. If therefore perfection were by the Levitical priesthood. If perfection
was by the what?
Levitical priesthood.
By the who?
Levitical priesthood.
What, excuse me, what need?
For under it the people received the law. What further need that another priest should rise after the order of Melchizedek?
What further need for that? And that's why we're going to make the contrast with these gifts and offerings, as it says in Leviticus 16, so you can see the contrast of the tree of life versus the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is the contrast between the priesthood of Melchizedek and the Levitical priesthood of Aaron. Continue this.
And not be called after the order of Aaron.
And not be called after the order of Aaron.
For the priesthood being changed, there is made of necessity a change also of the law.
Of the law.
For he of whom these things are spoken pertain to another tribe, of which no man gave attendance at the altar.
Nowhere in the law do you see that happen. He said, what verses would you use to show why we got off Melchizedek? Oh, simply because I got you. It's just the numbers. It's just when he made the covenant with Yasharal that he set them up as forth as a carnal commandment, because Melchizedek wasn't of any tribe of Yasharal, if you would. You know what I'm talking about? So when you see him enter into that covenant with Mount Sinai, and then, of course, you remember, instead of all the firstborn, he took the Levites. And then because he took the Levites, he chose one family of the Levites to be of the high priest, as it pertains to the flesh, as it pertains to the covenant with Abraham, because that was a covenant after the flesh and not after the Ruach, if you would. Because it was a covenant made with Abraham as it pertains to him having Isaac, and then Isaac having Jacob, and then Jacob having his sons. So that's how you look at it, and you can see that this is a commandment through carnality, which is the same way with the tree of knowledge of good and evil, because it was a commandment clearly because he made the tree. See, the Levitical priesthood of the high priesthood of Aaron is good because Yahuwah ordained it, but it didn't bring forth perfection. The tree of knowledge and good and evil is good because Yahuwah created it, but it wasn't supposed to bring forth perfection. That's why if they took from it, they would die. That's why he said if they would have ate from the tree of life, they would live forever, because the tree of life would cause them to prevail over sin and death, or prevail over that tree. You know what I'm saying? See, we were talking about this earlier with some people, man, and about Adam, you know what I'm saying, and Eve and all this here. And a lot of people, everybody looks at things so carnally that you can't see the underlying message that is being conveyed of the greater work that would come later. Well, that's why you've been, no, that's not what that is, and all this other stuff. And, you know, I've been doing this a long time, so I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And then also, because it's not even that I've been doing it a long time that I don't care. Argue with you for what? I'm already convinced that this is correct. So I can share this with you, but I don't feel the need to prove because if I prove this to you, like with the blind man, when his eyes were open and his parents was coming to him, he said, if I convince you, will you follow him? Like, if you're not going to believe on him, then what's my point? Get that from me, man. John 9, man. John 9, man. Give me verse 25, man. Tell me what that says.
He answered and said, whether he be a sinner, I know not. One thing I know, that whereas I was blind, now I see.
That's right.
Then said they to him again, what did he to you? How opened he your eyes? He answered them, I have told you already, and you did not hear. Wherefore would you hear again? Will you also be his disciples?
He said, if you're here again, and I done told you once already, if I tell you again, you're going to be his Taladim.
Then they reviled him and said, "You are his disciple, but we are Moses' disciples."
That's good. If you're not gonna be his Taladim, what's the point of me doing it? What's the point of me doing it, man? It don't make. I'm not going through that with you, cuz. You know what people see you running and all that. Call it what you want, cuz. Let me tell you something, man. I got better things to do in life, man. You know what? You know why I say that, man? I got a wife. I got kids. I got friends. I got nieces and nephews. I got God turn. I got a whole bunch of stuff, man. I got the weight room. I got a whole bunch of things that I could be doing than arguing with you. You know what I'm talking about? And when I say that, meaning I'm talking about arguing with you to a fruitless point of something that you have already committed that you don't want to accept. And you think I'm mad because you're not accepting it. I don't care. Okay, don't believe it then. How does that hurt me? I'm telling you this here for you to reassess your thought process when you engage in certain things, man. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just gonna give you the information. You do what you want to with it. Ain't none of my business. This will take the stress out your life, man, and the aggravation and all the other stuff that you deal with when you're fooling with people. You know what I'm saying? So you don't aggravate and stress yourself out. Because I guarantee you the person you arguing with ain't stressed out. You stressed out trying to get them to believe something they don't want to believe in the first place. There ain't no need for that, man. Life too short for all that, man. Go enjoy your kids, man. Go enjoy your wife and your husband, man. You know what I'm talking about? Go enjoy the fruit of your labor that Yahuwah done enable you to have, man. Go outside, touch some grass, man. Breathe some air. You know what I'm saying? For real, man. Definitely, Joseph. Definitely. Like, yeah, man. Life too short to be doing all that, man. Before you know it, you'll be in the casket and you won't even know you in there. You know what I'm saying? You don't need for all that, man. Come on with it. Read verse 14 again.
For evident that our Lord sprang out of Yehuda, of which tribe Moses spake nothing concerning priesthood.
Mm-hmm.
There's yet far more evidence for that after the similitude of Melchizedek there arise another priest, who is made not after the law of a carnal commandment.
Not after the law of a carnal what?
Commandment.
But after what?
The power of an endless life.
Go to Numbers chapter 3, show them where that come from. Let me make sure I got, because it might be Numbers 18. It is. Go to Numbers 18. Sometimes I be thinking Numbers 3 will be Numbers 18. Numbers 3 just the Levites as a whole. Go ahead.
Verse 1.
Yeah. Run me verse 1. We'll read both of them, though, because both of them say the same thing. I'm tripping. Come on.
And Yahuwah said unto Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house with you shall bear their iniquity, the iniquity of the sanctuary, and you and your sons with you shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. Your brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, bring you with you, that they may be joined unto you and minister unto you.
Mm-hmm.
But you and your sons with you before the tabernacle of witness, they shall keep your charge and the charge of all the tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
Only they shall not come near the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor you also die.
Mm-hmm.
They shall be joined unto you and keep the charge of the tabernacle of the congregation
Mm-hmm.
for all the service of the tabernacle, and a stranger shall not come near unto you.
That's good. I'm going to read you Numbers chapter 3 and verse 1. Numbers chapter 3 and verse 1. Numbers chapter 3 and verse 1. These, the generations of Aaron and Moses in the day Yahuwah spake with Moses in Mount Sinai. These, the names of the sons of Aaron, Nadab, firstborn, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These, the names of the sons of Aaron, the priests which were anointed, whom he consecrated to minister in the priest's office. Nadab, Abihu died before Yahuwah when they offered strange fire before Yahuwah in the wilderness of Sinai, and they had no children. Eleazar and Ithamar ministered in the priest's office in the sight of Aaron their father. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, bring the tribe of Levi near and present them before Aaron the priest, that they may minister unto him. And they shall keep his charge and the charge of the whole congregation before the tabernacle of the congregation to do service of the tabernacle. And they shall keep all the instruments of the tabernacle of the congregation in the charge of the sons of Yasharal to do the service of the tabernacle. And you shall give the Levites unto Aaron and to his sons. They are wholly given unto him out of the sons of Yasharal. And you shall appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall wait on their priest's office, and the stranger that come near shall be put to death. Exodus chapter 28. Is this showing you that this is a carnal commandment for them to minister in this office? This is who this comes from. This comes from Yahuwah. 28:1. We ain't did this in a while, Exodus, but we're going to do it tonight, though. Come on. Let Yahuwah be esteemed.
Take you unto you Aaron, your brother, and his sons with him from among the children of Yasharah.
That he might do what?
Minister unto me in the priest's office.
Tell him what minister and priest office is for those who may not be aware. Talk to him, man.
To minister, that's kahan, to act as a priest, minister in the priest's office.
Minister, this is specific. Come on.
And then priest's office is the same word, kahan.
This is operate in the priest's office now. Listen to him. Who's supposed to do it?
Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons.
And you shall make what?
Kadash garments for Aaron, your brother, for esteem and for beauty.
For esteem and for what?
For beauty.
And you shall speak unto who?
All wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the ruach of wisdom.
That they might do what?
Make Aaron's garments to consecrate them.
That he might do what?
Minister unto me in the priest's office.
What these garments is?
These the garments which they shall make: a breastplate, an ephod, and a robe.
What else?
Embroidered coat,
and what else?
A girdle.
And they shall make what?
Kadash garments for Aaron, your brother, and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office.
Now go read Daniel 10:1. This nigga failed on.
In the third year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was called Belshazzar, and the thing was true. But the time appointed long, and he understood the thing and had understanding of the vision.
Talk to him.
In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no pleasant bread, neither came flesh nor wine in my mouth. Neither did I anoint myself at all. So 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 4th and 20th day of the first month, as I was by the side of the grate, which is Hiddekel, then I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen.
Clothed in what?
In linen.
And who what?
Loins girded with the fine gold of Uphaz.
And his body was like what?
Like the beryl, and his face is the appearance of lightning.
And his eyes?
As lamps of fire, and his arms and feet like in color to polished brass, and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude.
Now come to Revelation chapter 1. We focusing on the fit. I just want you to focus on that. You see this man got on the garments of a high priest. This is what he got on. You need to know that based off of what Hebrews chapter 7 tell you about how this man is ministering into the Kadash tabernacle to make intercession on your behalf. You understand? Revelation chapter 1, man. Run me, I went too far down. Run me by verse 11 on the high, man. Shoot, you can make it 9, because that's how we feel.
I, John, who also am your brother and companion in tribulation, and in the kingdom and patience of Yahushua HaMashiach, was in the isle that is called Patmos for the word of Alahym.
And the testimony
of Yahushua HaMashiach.
I was in the Ruach on whose day?
The Lord's day.
And what you heard behind you?
A great voice as of a trumpet.
He said, I'm the Aleph and the who?
Tav,
the first and the what?
Last.
What you see?
Right in the book.
Send it where?
Unto the 7 assemblies which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, unto Smyrna, unto Pergamos,
Thyatira,
and unto Sardis,
and Philadelphia,
and unto Laodicea. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me.
What you saw?
And in turn, I saw 7 golden candlesticks.
And in the midst of the candlesticks, what you see?
Like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot.
Down to the who?
Down to the foot.
With a girded by what?
The paps with a golden girdle.
Now come on back and I got this one here. We're gonna come on back to Exodus 28. Now y'all gonna have to look at this stuff on your own time, because I don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time on these garments. So what you run down, what you gonna see is that he gonna have, of course, he's gonna have a curious girdle of the ephod. He gonna have a ephod that's made of fine linen, and it's gonna have gold, blue, purple, scarlet. And on the shoulders, it's gonna have 2 onyx stones, 6 names on each stone with the sons of Yasharal. He gonna have a breastplate. He gonna have a robe. That's why you seen him. He said he had a garment down to the paps. That's a robe. You understand? When you come down from that robe, then you're gonna see. That's the stuff we talked about in chapter 29 that we didn't finish. You know what I'm talking about? And that coat would be of fine linen, the mitre of fine linen, the girdle of fine linen. Now swing me to John 19:41. Listen what he said. And you wonder why this man buried like this. They buried him like a high priest. You did? He said, I just seen that. Come on.
Now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden a new sepulchre wherein was never man yet laid.
And of course, for those of you who know, and for those of you who don't know, the reason why you see him being buried in the garden, because since man died in the garden by the knowledge of good and evil, he got made unto life in the garden by the tree of life. That's why he got buried there. That's why that's there. That's not just there for happenstance. That's to show you that where the curse was made, in the same place a curse was made at, the curse was reversed. So that in all things that you might see the power of your Alahym and give esteem and praise to his mighty and Kadash name. Come on with it, man.
There lay the Yahusha, therefore, because of the Yahudim's preparation, for the sepulchre was near at hand.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Then I needed you to be in what? What verse I told you?
41.
Give me 37.
And again, another scripture saith, they shall look on him whom they pierced.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahusha, but secretly for fear of the Yahudim, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Yahusha.
Come on.
Pilate gave him leave. He came therefore and took the body of Yahusha. And there came also Nicodemus, which at the first came to Yahusha by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes with 100 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Then took they the body of Yahusha and wound it in linen clothes with the spices.
They wound it in what?
Linen clothes with the spices, as the manner of the Yahudim.
Amen, Mark. He said they wound him in what type of clothes?
Linen clothes.
What type of clothes?
Linen clothes.
My God. You think they just put this man in linen because that was just the fit of the day? Ain't nothing by accident, my G. Before I got on here, man, my man was talking about that, about the mystery. Like, nobody knew what the salvation, Shalom, Brother Ernest, nobody knew what the salvation was going to look like. They didn't know how it was going to come. Ain't nothing in here by accident. See, some people be like, you trying to do this? Who cares? Okay, that's what we doing then. You think I'm finna stop doing that because you don't believe it? He said, what if some don't believe? Should that make the faith of Alahym of none effect? God forbid. Man, that ain't got no bearing on me, man. Come on with it, my G. I want you to swing back over here to Jeremiah 23, what I mentioned to you, man. Jeremiah 23, man. Pick me up at verse 4, man. Matter of fact, you can make it verse 1, man. For Jeremiah 23 and 1, good sir.
Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Alahym Yasharal, against the pastors that feed my people.
Thus against the pastors that feed my people. What about them stinking, no good, fluke, dirty back bastards? What about them?
You have scattered my flock.
You scattering my people away, man. You done driven them away and having what?
Visited them.
And behold,
I will visit upon you.
I'm going to kill you.
The evil of your doing, saith Yahuwah.
And I'll gather the remnant
of my flock out of all countries where I have driven
and I will bring them again where?
To their fold.
And they shall be what?
Fruitful and increase.
And I will set up who?
Shepherds over them.
Which thou shalt do what?
Feed them.
Now, why these wicked niggas telling you ain't nobody supposed to be teaching the word? And this man say I'm going to set shepherds over them that they going to feed them. Read 1 Peter 5 and 1. See if Peter tell you the same thing. I hate you niggas. I promise I do. I hope you choke on your own vomit while you sleep. I hope every time you eat something, you got to go to the bathroom. I hope when you put on some shoes, they blow out at the bottom and your toes be out and you be a long way from home before you can get back to put a different pair of shoes on. You got to walk around uncomfortable all day long. I hope when you're driving, you got to go to the bathroom and you can't make it there in time and you boo-boo on yourself. And you live 45 minutes away from your house. You have to stew in your own poop. Yeah, man. You know what I'm talking about? I hope when you come home, it was food in the refrigerator you was looking forward to and somebody ate it. I'm talking about straight up. I'm talking about anything that could go wrong. I ain't talking about no death on you now. I'm talking about discomfort of the highest order. Well, you know what it's like to have food in that refrigerator and you were looking forward to it and you got back and the nigga ate it. You know what I'm talking about? I was waiting on that, what do you call that? I was waiting on that bourbon chicken all day. You ate my food. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down, man. Yeah, man. I hope when you come home, man, you thought your wife was going to be home cooking your dinner, but she was at her mama house. And she ain't make nothing. She thought you were going to pick something up from Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A done closed. Now you got to eat a turkey sandwich. Ooh, yeah, man. That's what I hope for you, man. I hope you got a favorite bottle of cologne and you drop it. And it break. Yeah, man. Come on.
The elders which are among you, I exhort, whom am also an elder and a witness of the suffering of Mashiach, and also a partaker of the esteem that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of Alahym which is among you.
Do what?
Feed the flock of Alahym which is among you.
And what else?
Taking the oversight, not by constraint,
not by
willingly,
constraint, but what?
But willingly.
Constraint for the people in the back. Come on.
And in castles, that's by force or constraint.
A lot of dudes want to be preachers by force. If God sent you to do it, just do it. Whoever's supposed to be under your charge, they're gonna be under your charge. That's what people's problem is. You too pressed for people to listen to you. Why you care? You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't nothing but a congregation of 5, then that's what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Let me tell you something, man. I remember my sister had told me she had a dream long time ago about riding past the church. She was like, I had a dream we was gonna have a congregation, this, that, and the third. I say, well, shoot, I don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm talking about? Because my mind wasn't on that. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. My mind was just on doing what I needed to do in that particular day. I'm just being honest with you. It wasn't that because I'm so noble or so humble. It's just I didn't think that far ahead. That for me, it wasn't even a tangible reality. To be 100% honest with you. You know what I'm saying? It was more so we in the hood. And when I say we in the hood, I'm talking about we in Justina or we on off Avenue B, because that's where I was at the time. And we just working here. You know what I'm saying? Or then when we was in around my way off University, like, yeah, we just doing wherever it is. That's or when we was in San Marco, wherever we at, that's just where I was focused at. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna focus on wherever we at. The thought process of like doing what that junk was so foreign in my brain. You know what I'm saying? Just because I wasn't thinking that far ahead. It wasn't nothing that, you know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that anybody's wrong if they thought about, you know what I'm saying, I want to start a congregation. They thought, that doesn't make them wrong. I'm just telling you that my mind was different. And you have to understand why my mind was different. Because I was never a part of any of that. So that wasn't something tangible in my brain. Like, I never thought we talking about dispensing no word, bro. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't no thing I'm talking about, yeah, let's do that, let's do this. Yeah, I want to, that never hit my brain. I didn't think that far ahead. Mainly because I never saw a preacher as a job of prestige, if you would, like other people do. I never saw it as that because I'd never been to church, so I didn't have the thought process to look at it that way. That's it, to be 100% honest. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all been to church. That's your life. That's your experience. So you might look at that vocation differently, and I would understand why you would. I'm just trying to help you understand where I'm coming from. But I never looked at a dude and said, that's my pastor. That's a preacher. I never looked at a preacher and was in awe of him. You know what I'm talking about? I never looked at that and said that this is something high up in the levels of society. I had no thoughts about it either way, positive or negative. I ain't gonna say I did. For them wicked niggas to take people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't nothing that I found like this is something that is that in the third. We would believe a black person who never been to church. Yeah. No. Not one time. If it wasn't a wedding, which was only one, y'all had mercy on us all. That was my auntie wedding. You know what I'm saying? And funerals. That was the only other time I was in there. I just got one photograph I can see I had an Easter basket, so I wager they took me for that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as when my memories began that I can remember, which is about 1985, I got one memory that might have been before 1985, and that was at my great-granddaddy Rayford's funeral. That's a hell of a first memory, isn't it? You know what I'm talking about? I remember that. I had to be about 4 or 5 years old, so that might have been 84 or early 85. Never. You know what I'm saying? No thought process to that. So I didn't look at that. So it's like, this is, for me, it's a job, cuz. Straight like that. This is a job. You know what I'm saying? I got a job to do. That's how I view it. You know why? Luke 17:9. See, I mention these things and then show you the passages out, the text that help create that mindset. You know what I'm saying? So it's not something that I look at and be like, oh, I'm so great, because it's a job. Like on a day-to-day basis, I pick up refuse. You know what I'm talking about? I clean out houses that have refuse in it. You know what I'm saying? Or we demo houses that get prepared, not the whole house, but interior demolition, to get them prepared for rehab. You know what I'm saying? It's a job for me. This is what I do to sustain myself. Go ahead.
Do he thank that servant because
Make
he
it
did
verse
it?
7. Luke 17:7.
But which of you, having a servant plowing or feeding cattle, will say unto him by and by, when he has come from the field, go and sit down to meat? Or will not rather say unto him, make ready wherewith I may sup, and gird yourself and serve me till I have eaten and drunken, and afterward you shall eat and drink? Do he thank that servant because he did the things that were commanded him?
He said, I trough not.
So likewise, you, when you shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say, we are
Profitable servants. We just done
that which was our duty to do.
It's a job. You know what I'm talking about? This man told me do X, Y, Z. Go do your job. 1 Corinthians 9 and 10. See, a lot of brothers don't look at it as a job. You look at it as a way to get vainglory from in the eyesight of men. This is a job. That's why when we read the Numbers 3 and the Numbers 18, what did you hear Yahuwah describe from the mouth of Moses to Aaron? That you have a job. You know what I'm talking about? A job that I need you to perform. Continue, good sir.
Or saith he altogether for our sakes? For our sakes, no doubt, is written that he that plows should plow in hope, that he that thresh in hope should be partaker of this of his hope. We have sown unto you spiritual things, a great thing if we shall reap you carnal things.
Listen.
If others be partakers of power over you, not we rather. Nevertheless, we have not used this power, but suffer all things, lest we should hinder the gospel of Mashiach.
Listen what he finna say.
Do you not know that they which minister about Kadash things live of the temple?
Listen.
And they which wait at the altar are partakers with the altar?
Listen.
Even so have the Lord ordained that which would preach the gospel should live of the gospel.
You got dudes who want to preach the word, don't even live it. You just heard how they say those who serve in the temple live by the temple. Ain't what he said? Those who serve at the altar, they take of the altar. I heard that. Shalom, my G. So think about that, man. He said those who live, those that preach the gospel ought to do what?
Live the gospel.
Man, you got dudes who don't even want to live the word, but want to tell everybody about it. You a buster. You a sucker. You a hypocrite. You a fraud. You a phony. You remember what Jay-Z said? We don't believe you. You need more people. We don't believe you, cuz. We don't believe you. Y'all have to stop condoning sucker stuff just because we in the word, bro. You have to stop. They'll stop doing it if y'all start calling these. I'm not even talking about no sinning, man. I'm talking about, nah, bro. We don't do that over here. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen the video, this dude putting his wee-wee in a woman inbox. Now you want to tell everybody, forgive me, Israel. Bro, you only doing that because that woman was finna expose you, cuz you a sucker. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't even talking about you putting your wee-wee in no woman inbox. You already know you wrong. But how you kicking your game, bro, you a buster. You know what I'm talking about? You a buster. Because it's not about you putting your wee-wee out here. You only trying to seek some type of sympathy and fake humility because you was finna get exposed. That's it. Because what you repenting to me for? You ain't sinned against me. That's what people kill me for. You got to forgive them people. What I got to forgive him for? He ain't did nothing to me. You got all these bruises. Forgive me, Israel. Forgive you for what? You need to take that to who you did that to, which is Yahuwah, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? I can't forgive you. Man, the only way you can forgive somebody is if they done something to you. And guess what? Your feelings getting hurt because you don't like what somebody said ain't doing nothing to you. Yeah, man, right to my, I repent, Israel. You know what I'm saying? Nah, cuz you just a pervert. Just own it. Just own it. Stop flogging and acting like you holy, man. You a pervert. It's okay, cuz. Get some help. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up, bro. A lot of these dudes, man, they be doing sucker stuff, man. They be doing stuff trying to do this with people, you know what I'm saying? And say this about this person and make this person look like that. Man, you got to start calling that stuff out. Nah, bro, we don't do that over here because you's a buster. You's a buster. No, I don't want to hear nothing about we all fall short. I don't want to hear nothing about we in our flesh. Sucker, man, you knew what you was doing because you knew you was wrong when you did it. You know you wasn't supposed to do that. I ain't talking about no sinning, man. I ain't talking about pointing out nobody's sin, man. I'm talking about people who doing sucker stuff, dishonorable conduct. Nah, bro, we not. Nah, bro, we not. Nah, bro, you can't do that. Because somebody sin, that's a different conversation. You know what I'm talking about? Your life is on the line with sinning. But this dishonorable, weirdo, goofy stuff you doing, bro, I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to do business with you. I don't want to do music with you. I don't want to do nothing with you. I don't want to hang with you, bang with you, slang with you, do any type of gangster things with you. No, man. Because if you'll do that to them, you'll do that to me. And I didn't hang around dishonorable men before the word. And boy, Yahuwah is my witness. I ain't finna do it in it. You gotta start pointing that stuff out about these dudes, man. Y'all be seeing these dudes be doing no, don't do that now. Stop entertaining dudes who want to talk down on other men. Nah, bro, no, call him. Make a post about him. Put his name on that. Don't bring that to me. Don't bring that to me. I don't want to hear nothing about nobody that ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't know that man. Don't come to me talking bad about that man. I don't want to hear that. You got to nip that in the bud. Nah, cuz, go be a whole nigga with somebody else. Hell, I look like sitting on the phone with you talking about another man for. Nigga, I don't like dudes. What's wrong with you? You got a woman laying next to you and you wake up with a man on your mind. And it ain't Yahuwah. Nigga, you gay. The only man that should be on your mind is Yahuwah and your brothers and your sons. And that's for good. How you wake up thinking about another man in a negative fashion? Boy, you fixated on him, you gay. That's homoerotic, son. You was dreaming about a dude. But the first man that should be on your mind when you open your eyes is Yahushua HaMashiach, your Father in heaven. That should be the first man name on your mind when you wake up in the morning. But you think about a man who got to take a bath just like you. Then you seeking out other men to converse about another man. All you niggas gay. And I ain't talking about gay as in lame. I'm talking about you homosexual. You attracted to men. What's wrong with you? How you think your old lady gonna respect you when she see you sitting around talking about other men all day? You think she respect you, cuz? You don't think she know you a buster? Her engine only get running because she want it, not because she want you. She knows she a lesbian. She knows she with another woman in a relationship. We gotta stop letting that stuff slide, gentlemen. Stop letting that stuff slide, man. I just told them they gotta let that stuff stop letting that stuff slide, man. Y'all be letting this stuff slide. You can't be letting this stuff slide. You have to remove yourself. People like that don't deserve to be in your presence. Because they're going to do it to you. You know that the Lord only kept Judas around because the book said that way. Man, that man didn't condone that type of stuff. And you know why I also mentioned that? So you can know who your Judas is, if you would. So you can identify him. So you don't get caught off guard. So you can identify him. So you know. Like Psalm 55 said, he said, if it was my enemy, I could have hid myself. He said, but it was my friend, my acquaintance, my equal. You got to pay attention to these boys, man. Now, I ain't going to say this here around these parts because all them sucker niggas gone now. You know what I'm talking about? Praise Yahuwah for that. I hope they never come back. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, because we ain't in no environment where we like, well, you can't come around here and get no word. I can't tell you where you can and can't go. I can tell you like what John the Baptist said, you generation of vipers, who told you to flee from the wrath to come. But I can't tell you can't get no word. We don't do that type of stuff. Oh, he can't come back. It don't matter. You come back around, you can get served, cuz. It don't really. I don't even charge for it. You come back. But see, the type of sucker you is, you ain't gonna bring your goofball behind back around here no way. Cause ain't nobody gonna want to fool with you like that, bro. We already know you dishonored yourself. And this ain't one specific person, it's several. They know who they is and they know what they did. You know what I'm talking about? And the people who been here, they know who they is and they know what they did. We ain't got to go in no details, man. Yeah, nigga, I'm talking about you. You know what you did. It's still, nigga, hey, man, if you were hungry, we still gonna feed you, cuz. If you need love, we gonna comfort you. You know what I'm talking about? You need some clothes, we gonna clothe you. But we ain't gonna clap five with you like we brothers because we know you ain't brothers. You done already showed that. You done already showed that. Yeah, man, you done already showed that. So you brothers got to be aware that, man, everybody in the word don't love you, cuz. And you got to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Don't be on some, man, that's why I don't fool with these congregations. And hey, man, that man never told you it wasn't going to be wicked niggas amongst you. That man ain't never told you that. Don't blame the assembly. Don't blame Yahuwah. Blame the wicked nigga who did it. Man, my dog said that today, man. He said, I ain't mad at the church. He said, I got molested in the church. He said, I ain't get mad at the church. He said, I was mad at the woman who did it. You see how that worked? That's a mature mind. And he had that mind as a child. You got to know the difference, man. I'm not responsible for what somebody did to you. I'm not responsible for how you take what somebody say to you. Nigga, untuck your nuts and be a man. Niggas too soft around the anus for my taste. Come on, man. What we at with it, G?
1 Corinthians 9. Must be good with that.
Keep on. Nah, what verse? I ain't hear what I wanted to hear yet. I got Zechariah 6 and 9, by the way, y'all. I'm going to read that. When we finish this Corinthians, we're going to swing to Zechariah 6. I know I did show y'all how in Ezekiel 40, because I don't want to spend a lot of time in that because we just recently did it. So when you look in Ezekiel chapters 40 through 48, and you see the prince, more specifically in chapters 43, 44, 45, and 46. So these are something that you can examine on your own time. This is Ezekiel 43, 44, 45, and 46. You're going to see the prince operating and facilitating in the office of the high priest, with the sons of Zadok, the Levites, ministering unto him. This man is king and priest on his throne. We know this because Ezekiel 37 tells you, and then my servant David will be king to both houses. This same servant or prince is facilitating the sin offerings in the feast days, as is enumerated in those chapters that I just mentioned. This is evidence of the priesthood of Melchizedek being in the kingdom of Shamayim, or more specifically, the kingdom of Amashai or the kingdom of Alahym. You understand? Because see, when we know that Yahuwah is our judge and Yahuwah is our lawgiver and Yahuwah is our king, we understand in the kingdom of heaven, when the Father comes down to dwell amongst men, that obviously that is the priesthood of Melchizedek, because the Father is your king and lawgiver. You did? So the priesthood of Melchizedek has always been the chosen priesthood of Shamayim, which is why you see that priest in Genesis 14, because it's about rulership and administration of godliness and kadoshness from the king himself, which is why Deuteronomy 17 tells you that the king must keep a copy of the law, because he's setting you up for what is coming later, because what's coming later is greater. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand that. That doesn't make the first covenant not great. It doesn't make the law not great. It makes the tree of life and the witness and the righteousness of Alahym greater, because of the facilitation and execution of said office and what it can bring about, which is perfection through the Ruach HaKadosh unto everlasting life. And the law can't give you that. And the first covenant can't give you that. And the priesthood of Aaron can't give you that. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And this is another thing. And you know, I've told y'all this before. You have to erase this constant and consistent need to want to destroy everything the Christian church is talking about and how it's wrong. And now you saying people not to keep the law. You got to get rid of that, because it skews your perception of understanding what the scripture and the epistle letters and the gospels are trying to convey. Stop worrying about them and what they teaching, man. When you do that, you're not gonna catch. You're gonna be just like a stone hand sprinter playing wide receiver. You can run fast, but you ain't gonna catch nothing. Eventually, you're gonna be out of here. And when I say sprinter, I'm talking about a real sprinter. It's been a few Olympic sprinters that played professional football, and most of them were trash. The only one that was decent was a man by the name of Willie Gold. Played with the Chicago Bears in the mid to late 80s. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about a real live Olympic sprinter, not somebody who has Olympic sprinter speed. I'm talking about an actual sprinter who was turned football player. Mass majority of them were trash. because they could run very fast, and with the exception of Jacksonville's own Bob Hayes. Can't forget about Bob Hayes. You know what I'm talking about? Because he was a gold medal sprinter, Hall of Fame wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? He literally changed the game and made teams play zone. Because they played man-to-man back then. The man was so fast, they came up with concepts to stop him that had never been done before. You know what I'm talking about? There's not very many men who have that ability. So you have to separate yourself from that so you can succeed. If you stay fixated on what the Christian church got going on, you'll never be successful because you're focusing on what you don't like and what you don't agree with. Focus on what you like and what you can agree with so you can take it, encapsulate it, and benefit from them and be a better man than what you were the day before. Stop fixating on what you don't like and don't agree with. Okay, they doctrine false. Now what? Stop using that capital. You want to get the people out of church. You don't want to get them people out of church. You want to be right. You want to prove them people wrong. That boy say, man to man, a nasty word. Hey, that's what it is out there, baby. Me and you on an island, baby. Me and you on an island. You know what I'm talking about? Can you guard me? I don't think so. Like this is what he say. I'm gonna make it worse for him because you ain't gonna jam me off the line. Hey, I'm only kind of like that because my homegirl Nissa had a room about that today, man. We done had the conversation several times. She's like, Paul's culture is turning people gay. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, we really just be clowning. But she said, with the youth, though, it's pretty bad. Like, little boys don't want to eat bananas because people tell them they gay. You know what I'm talking about? Don't want to eat hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even no grown men cutting up bananas. Man, I ain't no baby. You ain't cutting up no damn banana because you can be like, oh, you sucking a penis. Uh-huh. Your mama is too. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not doing all that. Only time I cut up bananas is put them in cornflakes, and I don't eat cornflakes anymore. You don't know about that, huh? You don't know about cutting up bananas in a bowl of cornflakes?
Oh, yeah. My grandma. I was born in 1930 now.
Oh, I ain't doing all that. Oh, you eat the glizzy. Mm-hmm. So Liz put relish and mustard on it too. It was great.
That's how you add some flavor to your cornflakes.
That's how you add some flavor to your cornflakes. And guess what? It worked. It worked.
Try hard cornflakes too.
He said, I wanted frosted flakes. Come on, man. Oh, Lord, my God, today.
He was in verse 14.
Verse 14, 1 Corinthians 9.
Said, even so hath the Lord ordained that they which preach the gospel should live of the gospel. But I have used none of these things, neither have I written these things, that it should be so done unto me.
Mm-hmm.
For better for me to die than that any man should make my esteem void.
Mm-hmm.
But though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to esteem of.
He said, though I preach the gospel, I have what?
Nothing to esteem of.
Though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to esteem of.
For necessity is laid upon me.
Because what's laid upon me?
Necessity.
Woe unto me.
If I preach not the gospel.
Tell her what necessity mean in that Greek right there. The strongest strongs, my God, today.
In that case, that's necessity imposed either by the circumstances or by law of duty regarding to one's advantage, custom, argument, calamity, distress, straits.
That man says that which is imposed upon him, he's been given a responsibility. He said destruction on me if I don't fulfill that responsibility. See, a lot of brothers, they don't look at it that way. Man, that's a responsibility. It's a job. And when you have a job, guess what you have? Responsibility. Read it from me again, man.
For though I preach the gospel, I have nothing to esteem of, for necessity is laid upon me. Yea, woe is unto me if I preach not the gospel.
Pause. You know, this just hit my mind. I don't know if I'd have mentioned this before. But Mashiach is our high priest, correct? So if Mashiach is our high priest, he's operating in the facilitation of Aaron, correct? And then all these apostles, prophets, pastors, evangelists, and teachers are literally the Levites ministering unto him. You know what I'm saying? Performing the duties and serving the tabernacle. The difference is this is not a tabernacle that man has made, but the tabernacle that the Lord himself has made. It's the same facilitation of operation. No different. There is no difference. You know what I'm talking about? The difference is in the execution, because the execution is going to bring about a better result. That's what you have to keep in mind. It's going to bring a better result. The result is everlasting life and dwelling in the tabernacle with your Abba and Shamahim forever. That might not mean something to some, but it means something to us. And when I say us, I'm talking about those of us who have confessed that we strangers and pilgrims on the earth, and we desire a country. And we desire a city whose maker and builder is Alahym. If you don't desire that, I'm going to tell you this ain't the channel for you. Cause yeah. If you're looking for white man bashing, this ain't the channel for you. If you're looking for we the Israelites, this ain't the channel for you. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. If you're looking for standard trash can teachings, nah, bro, this not the place for you. And that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you. We after one thing and one thing alone, and that's everlasting life. That's what we after. You know what I'm talking about? That's what we after. Straight up and down. Nothing else. Ain't nothing more important than that. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all done look death in the face. And when I say look death in the face, I'm talking about your own mortality. That you were in a situation, a circumstance, and you didn't think you was going to make it out alive. Most of you have looked death in the face through the eyes of someone else as you looked at their body and seen no life in it. You know what I'm saying? That is different when it's somebody you love, somebody you know, and somebody you care about. You looking at their body and ain't no life in it. But to check this out, though. Most of you do it every single solitary day. And you know why? Because you walk around looking at people who ain't got the Ruach HaKodesh in them, but yet they moving and breathing and you thinking they alive, but they really dead. And you've been granted an opportunity that don't be you and you going to squander it. I'm not responsible for why some people, this man ain't gave them an ear to hear and a heart to understand that they might convert and be healed. Because that ain't got nothing to do with me. But he gave me that opportunity. And I can't tell you why. And I don't care why. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? I take that back. I do know why. Because Yahuwah is merciful. You know what I'm talking about? And he shows mercy and compassion on whom he shows mercy and compassion to. And I give thanks that he decided to send it this way. Because it's not by any works of righteousness of my own. That's for certain. You know what I'm talking about? I know that unequivocally and without question. No doubt about it. So like when I read what Paul say, hey, he show a pattern of repentance. He say, because of sinners, I was chief. I understand what he talking about. Man, you have to sit back. Man, if you feel like the fire ain't burning as strong as it was when you first started, whatever the case may be, man, you need to sit back and think about how you was living before the word came. And think about how you ought to be dead and in the grave, waiting to be waking up and find out you don't have reservations in the kingdom of heaven because your name ain't in the book of life. You know, good to think, man, there was never a time where I thought like, yeah, I'm going to get into heaven. Never. Before the word, never ran across my mind, man. Never. There was no way I could think that the way what we was out here doing. There's no way. While about 21 years old, man, we were finna get in a car accident, man. We coming down old Gervin Road, man. Back then, man, it was a 2-lane road, man. And you had the Wonderwood Expressway wasn't built yet. You understand? It's me, my homeboy, Chris, and Justin, man. We in the box Chevy, riding to the beach. You know what I'm saying? Somebody coming down in a Pontiac minivan, he barreling down on us. We like this here. Justin done froze. He driving. I see that van coming. I said, boy, I seen myself going through the windshield. I said, boy, we gone. Boy, we dead. I said, man, I'm finna go to hell. I ain't finna see Lil Muffin again, and I ain't gonna make $1 million. My God, today. That's what went through my mind, man. You were my witness. And then at the last second, that van veered off. You know what I'm talking about? Like, nigga, looking at that, man, you could see your death, and you know it's over. Man, I ain't know no Bible, but I knew I was going to hell. How am I sit here and lie to myself and say, you finna go to heaven, man? How? Based off of what? Based off of what? Just like 2001. 8 years later, here come the word. Oh, yeah, I knew I was going to hell. Let me get my soul together, save myself. You got to go back. You got to think about them type of things, man. So you can strengthen those things that are ready to die. So you can remember your first love, man. Take hold of it. Keep it going. Don't get complacent. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. You ain't going to move how you need to move, man. Zechariah 69. And the word of Yahuwah came to me saying, take of the captivity, Heldai, Tobiah, Yediah, which will come from Babylon and come you the same day and go into the house of Josiah, the son of Zephaniah. Take silver and gold and make crowns and set upon the head of Yahushua, the son of Jehozadak, the high priest. Speak unto him, saying, thus speaketh Yahuwah of hosts, saying, behold, the man whose name is the what?
The branch.
He shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of Yahuwah. Now run me Jeremiah 23. I think we started at verse 2. Run that. That's where the Jeremiah 23 come in at. That's why I mentioned it.
Therefore, thus saith Yahuwah Alahym Yasharal against the pastors that feed my people.
Mm-hmm.
You have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, saith Yahuwah. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries where I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds. They shall be fruitful and increase.
Mm-hmm.
I will set up shepherds over them which shall feed them. They shall fear no more,
Mm-hmm.
nor be dismayed. Neither shall they be lacking, saith Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch.
Raise up a what?
A righteous branch.
What he gonna do?
And the king shall reign and prosper.
The king shall what?
Reign and prosper.
Mm.
And shall execute judgment and justice in the earth.
He gonna execute what?
Judgment and justice in the earth.
My God, today. Come on back to Zechariah 6 and 12, y'all. Speaking to him, saying, thus speaketh Yahuwah of hosts, saying, behold, the man whose name the branch, he shall grow up out of his place, and he shall build the temple of Yahuwah. Even he shall build the temple of Yahuwah. He shall bear the esteem, and shall sit upon his throne, and he shall be a priest upon his throne. And the counsel of Shalom shall be between them both. So he's letting you know that Melchizedek coming. He told you that in Zechariah. He told you that in Genesis. You know what I'm talking about? He showed alludings to it in Isaiah 16. It's laid out plain in Ezekiel, if you know what you're looking at. So he's taking and consolidating it into one place. Now, let's come over here to John 19 and talk about something we ain't talked about in a long time. Yeah, my God, today. Shalom, Mika. And we want to come over here to John chapter 19, if you would. And you can go at verse 17, because, hold on. For the wicked niggas who like to talk too much. John 19 and 13.
When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Yahushua forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the pavement, but in the Abarim Gabbatha, and it was the preparation of the Passover.
About the what?
6th hour.
And he said unto the
Yahudim,
behold,
your king.
but they cried out,
away with, crucify him.
Pilate
Said unto them,
shall I crucify
your king?
The chief priest answered,
we have no king but Caesar.
Succor, then delivered.
He him therefore unto them to be crucified. And they took Yahushua and led him
Hold
away.
on, this just came to my man. Make sure y'all check this here. Do y'all know why they said we ain't got no king but Caesar? Does anybody remember the prophet that alludes to why they would say that? I know it's obscure, and it's okay. I know that's obscure. I ain't busting nobody balls. We ain't talked about it in a long time. Come on over here to host. I got you. Come over here to Hosea 10. Look at verse 3, verse 2. He said, the heart is divided. Now shall they be found faulty. He shall break down their altars. He shall spoil their images. For now they shall say, we have no king, because we fear not Yahuwah. What then should a king do to us? That's unfortunate now, isn't it? Isn't that an unfortunate thing to say out of your mouth? We don't have no king. What will a king do to us? We ain't got king but Caesar. See, that's how a lot of brews feel right now. Yahuwah not your king. You can say all that stuff you want to. You want to be ruled by men. See, some people say, you want to rule people now. Nah, bro, I just got to. See, a lot of people say, man, a preacher is a job. He ain't supposed to be ruling over nobody, man. Didn't we just read that from Peter? Shalom, Brother Herman. Hey, man, that's not, man. It's just a job, cuz. Like, it's really just a job. See, it's man who elevates preachers and pastors and apostles to these particular points, because you worship man, you don't worship Yahuwah, and this man wants to be worshiped, so he allows you to do that to him. You know what I'm saying? You have to pay attention to that, because Yahushua shouldn't worship. And where did he let them people do that until it was time? He never let them people do that. It wasn't no need for him to do that. His mind wasn't on that. When you hear people always talking about people want to be worshiped, this, that, there, and the third, that's where they mind at. Y'all have to learn human nature. You need to learn to listen to people when they speak. You need to learn to not filter things through your emotions when you hear it, but that you see things logically and plainly. Because people tell on themselves all the time. You know what I'm saying? Just let them talk. They'll tell you everything you need to know. Stop being one of them people that you just want somebody to say it plainly or you want to see the evidence. They're giving you the evidence, man. I told you like what Pimp C said, man, years ago, man, we ain't got to expose these niggas. They expose themselves every day. You don't have to. If you know what you're looking at, these people exposing themselves every day. Most of your favorite Israelites expose themselves every day. Ain't nobody got to make no videos about them. Ain't nobody got to make no posts about them. They making the posts. They making the videos. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. How do you get in the word and lose all sense of discernment, common sense, and the ability to see people for who they are? Man, you can only see people for who they are, not who you want them to be, but who they are. If he wicked, then he wicked. Is it? If he righteous, then he righteous. If he filthy, then he filthy. If he clean, then he clean. If he kadash, then he kadash. If he unkadash, then he unkadash. Ain't nothing you can do about it, baby. Come on with it, good sir. Where we at with it? John 19 and what? Oh my God, today. What
Verse 16.
Not John 19 and 16.
That then delivered he them therefore unto them to be crucified, and they took Yahushua and led away. And he, bearing his stake, went forth into a place called of a skull, which is called in Alahym Golgotha.
If you want to know why he was bearing the stake, go read Ezekiel chapter 12. It'll tell you. Come on.
Where they crucified him, and two other with him on either side, one and Yahushua in the midst.
Yes, sir.
And Pilate wrote a title and put on the stake, and the writing was Yahushua of Nazareth, King of the Yahudim.
Then this title.
Then read many of the Yahudim.
For the place
where Yahushua was crucified was near to the city.
And it was written
in Abarim, Greek, and Latin.
See, pause. Listen. I'm gonna show you something from the beginning. Now, I mentioned that he was buried in the garden, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Why was he crucified outside of the city? And I don't want you to think about the go outside the camp and suffer the reproach, because that's not what I'm referring to. That's why I mentioned that with the garden. So that's where your mind need to go. That's why I gave you that clue. But now I'm gonna make it plain. Why was he crucified outside of the city? Didn't it say it was near to Jerusalem? Why was he crucified outside of the city? What y'all think about that? What passages in your law? And if we saying in your law, that means where I just narrowed it down to, Civic.
Genesis through Numbers.
I ain't even I narrowed it smaller than that. I just narrowed you down from Genesis chapter 1 to 3. Truth be told, I narrowed it down to Genesis chapter 2 and 3. Why was he crucified outside of the city? What verses would you use to explain to somebody if they said well, why was he crucified outside of the city? What level of understanding would you be able to impart to do that? Remember, contrast what we read in John 19 earlier about him being buried in a garden and what I mentioned about why he was buried in the garden, and you'll have your insight to why he was crucified outside of the city. Because he was a sacrifice, he had to leave the city, and that's accurate when you talk about the red heifer and things of that nature. But that's not what I'm angling to right there, Bazooka. Your answer is in Genesis chapters 2 and 3. That's where your answer is. It's not just one particular passage, but that's where your answers are. Why was he crucified outside of the city? Why is that relevant? My God, today.
Because Adam was made outside the garden and then put there.
Was Adam made outside the garden? No, he was not. He was made in the garden. Let's look and see that. Genesis chapter 2, verse 5. He died where the cherubim were at the garden. Nobody could go in and out while her Mashiach was buried. I can see why you would say that. That ain't it either.
That I was thinking because once Adam was once the curse was made, he was put outside the garden.
Now you working with something. You know what I'm talking about? You say with three, it was 3 and 3 would be the tree in the midst. Oh, you talking about with him being in between the two thieves? I can see why you would make that. That's more in Zephaniah, just Yahuwah in the midst. But listen to this here, so you can see what he was made at. Genesis 2 and 5.
And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for Yahuwah had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and was not a man to till the ground.
Come on.
But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And Yahuwah Alahym formed man, the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And Yahuwah Alahym planted a garden eastward of Eden. There he put the man whom he had formed.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the ground made Yahuwah Alahym to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Listen, see Paul, right? You see how him being made where he was made at? See how that go with the John 19? He was made alive. You know what I'm talking about? Outside of the spot that he put him in there. You know what I'm talking about? But that's not what we're focusing on. Read him Genesis 2 and 17. See what happened.
But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil,
You should not what?
Eat of it.
Because in the day you
Eat thereof,
you shall surely
die.
So listen, now read Genesis 3 and 6.
And when the woman saw that the tree good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat.
And what happened?
The eyes of both of them both were open, and they knew that they naked, and they sewed fig leaves together.
You remember what happened, what we looked at in John 9, when your eyes open, that means you see and your what? Sin remains. So now let's go to Genesis 3 and 22. Look what that say.
And Yahuwah Alahym said, Behold, the man is become as one of us to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever.
What happened?
Therefore Yahuwah Alahym sent him forth from the garden of
He sent him where?
Forth from the garden of Eden.
Why?
To till the ground from whence he was taken.
So why you see Mashiach being put to being crucified outside of the city? Because at this point, he has to take hold of the tree of knowledge of what? He has to be put to death according to the what? And the law don't got no what? No life in it. So since the law don't have no life in it, and he's taking on the form of the first Adam, he has to be put out because of sin. But he became sin who what? Knew no sin. Just like the first Adam became sin who knew no what? Sin. Because he was like, well, he did sin. He sinned when he took it. Yeah. But before he took it, he hadn't sinned. He didn't know no sin. That's why Paul told you Adam wasn't in the transgression, but the woman. Adam did not outright sin. Is forth is rehearsing the word back and disobeying it. He didn't do that. He took on sin when he didn't have to. Just like Mashiach took on sin when he didn't have to. Stop trying to turn the story of Adam and Eve into a gender war because you hate your mama. Because you mad that girl broke your heart. Because that girl you wanted to talk to didn't talk to you, and now you want to talk about these Eves. You Eve, dummy. Eve is you. Literally. That's Israel. That's you. Now you seem stupid. Because you're really mad with yourself. But you want to take it out on her. Get yourself together, my G. Get some help. You know what I'm talking about? Yahuwah your help, but you don't want that. You destroyed yourself. But in him is your help. That's what he told you. You ain't got to do all that, man. It's unnecessary. There has to come a point in time where you mature in the word, where you don't participate in such conversations, thoughts, comments, or concerns. Because you know better. You understand? So he's being crucified outside of the city because the very thing that got Adam put out has to get him put out. The very way how Adam died and then is put in a garden. Because remember, Yahushua died what? Outside of the city. And then he was put in a garden, in a sepulcher that had no man had ever been laid in a garden. So the same way that Adam was created outside of a garden and then put in it when he had life, Mashiach got put in a garden when he had no life in order to have life so that you could return to the garden, because he said he would make Jerusalem like the garden of Yahuwah. Ain't that what he said in Isaiah? For those who don't know, Isaiah 51 and 3. It's all the same word pointing to the same thing, that your father might be esteemed and that you might believe and live forever. Because through that faith, you would obey and then you would endure and you would be filled with the Ruach HaKodesh unto everlasting life. Now, if that don't work for you, I feel sorry for you. I don't know what to tell you. Come on. I keep smelling this here because this is one of my favorite. This is phenomenal.
So for Yahuwah shall comfort Zion, he will comfort all her waste places. He will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of Yahuwah.
Praise Yahuwah.
Joy and gladness shall be found therein. Thanksgiving, the voice of melody.
Thanksgiving and the voice of melody. That's what he said. He's going to do to Jerusalem. He's going to turn it into the Garden of Eden. So if he know that in the future he's going to turn Jerusalem to the Garden of Eden, he got to put Mashiach out of it, lest the city be defiled with innocent blood. Put him outside of it. Put him outside of it. And let's perform the work that was done and watch him reverse the work of the first Adam. Watch him reverse it. You know what I'm talking about? Because you would have to realize that Adam had dominion. He would be king and priest also. Because who gave the work? Who was supposed to be the one to do the facilitating of the execution of the office of a priest? It was Adam. Didn't he have dominion over the whole earth? Who else got dominion but a who? But a king. My God, today. Come on back over here, man. John 19, verse 19. Hold on. So does a Mashiach become the tree of knowledge? No, it's not necessarily that he becomes it. He represents the tree of life. He represents the law. You know what I'm talking about? But his fourth is like literally being those trees. The tree of knowledge and good and evil is the law. The tree of life is faith. The tree of knowledge and good and evil, or the law, is what put Adam to death. So the tree of knowledge and good and evil, which is the law, is what put Mashiach to death. Remember, he said, man, you crucified. He said, our law say we can't put no man to death. And they put him to death because they said he was a what? A blasphemer. And he was offered up according to the law. You know what I'm talking about? Because always remember that the law is not what resurrected him from the dead. Remember, he said, my flesh rests in hope because you will not suffer your Kadash one to see corruption. Remember, it tell you that the tree of life, he said, lest they take and do what? Live forever. And the Mashiach has made me free from the law of sin and death, because the tree of life or faith frees you from the penalty of sin and death. Exodus 33 and who? Run Exodus 33 and 4. When you get to verse 7, just let me know. Exodus 33 and 4. Shoot, make it 1. Just run it down to 7.
And Yahuwah said unto Moses, depart, go up hence, you and the people which you have brought up out of the land of Egypt.
I just want
unto the land which I swear unto Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, saying, unto your seed will I give it. And I will send the Alahym before you, and I will drive out the Canaanite, the Amorite, the Hittite, the Perizzite, the Hivite, and the Jebusite, unto a land flowing with milk and honey. For I will not go up in the midst of you, for you a stiff-necked people, lest I consume you in the way. When the people heard these evil tidings, they mourned. No man did put on his ornaments. For Yahuwah has said unto Moses, saying to the children of Yasharal,
what do you need to say to
you, a stiff-necked people? I will come up into the midst of you in a moment and consume you. Therefore now put off your ornaments from you, that I may know what to do unto you.
I need to know.
The children of Yasharal stripped themselves of the ornaments.
I remember this is after they worshiped the golden calf.
Of their ornaments by the Mount Horeb. This is verse 7 coming up.
Come on with it.
And Moses took the tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, afar off from the camp, and called it the tabernacle of the congregation. It came to pass that everyone which sought Yahuwah went out unto the tabernacle of the congregation, which was without the camp.
Now, see, this is going to take you into what you call in Hebrews 13 to suffer the reproach outside the camp. Now, see, the relevancy that rolls into this is going to take you into Exodus 34, when he makes the 2 tables of stones again, and then Moses' face shines. You understand? Because sin is what called these people, oh, y'all got to go. Because if I come up in here, y'all gonna die. You know what I'm talking about? So when you get into that, because that's dealing with the renewal of the covenant, which is showing you how the covenant would be renewed because the people broke it. Because it's in the law. He threw the tables of stone down, they committed adultery, they committed idolatry. Threw the table of stone down, covenant broken. You know what I'm saying? The covenant is broken. It's over for that. But Yahuwah in his infinite mercies, which of course it leads into that ending in chapter 33, where he said, I will show mercy on whom I show mercy and compassion on whom I show compassion. And then in Exodus 34, he say, take 2 tables of stone and make them like unto the first. And then that's when he declares his name and say, Yahuwah Alahym, merciful, gracious, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth, forgiving sin, iniquity, and transgression, and by no means clearing. And then Moses' face shines, showing you how a new covenant was going to be made, built on better promises than the first. You know what I'm talking about? Even within that, praise Yahuwah that you mentioned it, even within that, with Exodus 33 and 34, he's showing you how grace and truth, how the law came by Moses, but grace and truth came by Yahushua HaMashiach. He's showing you that then. Because they got grace and truth with that. They were supposed to be done. They were supposed to be done. They were supposed to be over. You understand? The covenant is broken. Do you understand once you break that covenant, he ain't bound by it no more? He's not bound by it anymore. When you read, when he saved for the cause of fornication, he literally could have got rid of you and got another wife. Same thing Adam could have did. He could have got rid of Eve and got another wife. You see the pattern? You see the pattern? You don't get rid of your wife and get another one because Yahuwah don't do it. Amen, man. Because Yahuwah don't do it. Now, I'm going to tell you, that's a hard pill to swallow. You talking about having an unfaithful woman and still having that level of reconciliation and mercy. Every man ain't built like that, and every man can't do that. It does, to an extent. Yes, sir. You know what I'm talking about? But it just show you, remember, I always tell you about that 2 Samuel 14. He devised the means to bring his banished back to him. That's what I've always told you, man. The number one thing you want to seek to do is reconciliation. That's the way of Yahuwah. Now, one thing for certain, 2 things for sure. You can't reconcile with somebody who don't want to reconcile. But the way of Yahuwah for any son of Alahym is to seek reconciliation. That's the standard. Period, point blank. Is to seek reconciliation. See, like when you hear me say, hey, I ain't fooling with men who dishonorable and do things of that nature. You know why? Because those men are not going to seek reconciliation. They're not going to take accountability. They're not going to acknowledge their behavior. So you just have to, nah. Like Paul said, don't sit down and eat with those. Stay away from them. But if they can be able to come and seek reconciliation, then that's fine. Because that would take a level of humility to do that. See, I ain't talking about coming, I'm talking about contriteness, like the text say. But when you're dealing with an issue with your wife, issue with your brother, you know what I'm talking about? Issue with your offspring, reconciliation, put your pride to the side. If you go, I ain't reconciling with nobody, that's your pride, cuz. That man say, be you perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect. That's one thing I think Yahuwah for. I ain't never been one to walk around with no grudge. Because that's too much energy. When you can allow somebody to have you hate them, you know what I'm saying, and you holding grudges, that person got too much space in your mind. Nobody should have that type of space in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna tell you something, man. For most people are not fundamentally evil at their core. Most of you have not come across pure evil. You know people who have evil ways. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm talking about fundamentally them, they're not evil. When I'm talking about evil, I'm not talking about just the definition of raw, disagreeable. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about like, yeah, that boy, that wicked. Like different level of, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that boy, that's something different. You understand what I'm telling you? Most of us most people aren't like that. Most people just got foul ways. You know what I'm saying? And those foul ways are usually rooted in some type of negative experience in their childhood, more than likely, that causes them to behave in a certain type of way. So they don't really see the folly in said behavior, if you understand what I'm saying. So when they do certain things, they don't really realize the level of just dishonor, lack of kumph. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature that come along with such behavior. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of people do things out of survival. A lot of do things, I mean, I'm saying survival, like they get in the thought process and they don't really care what they do because they're just trying to survive. Some people do things out of hurt. Some people do things out of malice. They don't really realize what it is that they're doing. You know what I'm talking about? Then you have some people like, nah, that nigga, they're pure evil. Like, yeah, it's pure. His heart dark. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. When you get to the point of understanding where you can separate the person from their ways, and I know that's a hard thing to say, but I thought they you know what I'm saying? You have to separate the two, and you can see like that nigga ain't really evil, but I just don't rock with that. So this is why I don't fool with you, because someone who's evil can't correct their ways. You know what I'm saying? Because their heart is intentionally on doing evil all the time. Psalms 14 shows you that. I think we read some of those, and that's what they mind at all the time. He say, the wicked go astray from the womb telling lies. You understand what I'm telling you? And then you have some people, they have picked up evil ways over time, and they work in them. You know what I'm saying? This is something I done told y'all before, man. My mama taught me this, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to dislike people. You can just dislike their ways. When you can separate, this is how Yahuwah was able to have compassion on any one of us, because he was able to separate our ways from who we are, because he searched your heart. He knew fundamentally in your heart that you're not a certain type of individual. Because if you were, he wouldn't give you an opportunity of salvation so great. When I'm talking about so great, I'm talking about giving us an understanding. Because remember, he said those who are seed by the wayside, they hear the word and don't understand it. Amen, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand that. That's why he said, who can have compassion on those who are ignorant and out of the way? Like a lot of stuff we were doing, man, you was doing some evil stuff, but you didn't know no better. That wasn't fundamentally what your heart was made of. Meaning your inward man was just not necessarily just an evil person. You were corrupted by the influence of an evil society and your own lust because you weren't shown any better. You know what I'm saying? Remember that man say he searched the heart and the reins. You know what I'm talking about? He done searched your heart out. He know what type of heart you got. He know what type of heart you got. Even in your ignorance. Even in your sin, he already knew when this time come right here, this person gonna do this. See, he already knew Esau's heart was evil towards him. Now, see, that's a whole nother conversation. When you talk about people whose heart is evil towards you, that is a whole nother conversation. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm telling you this here so that you can be able to look and have compassion and understand, so that you can have a godly interaction with people who out the way. You know what I'm talking about? Come on with it, man. What we got with it? John 19 and what? Read me to me.
Okay. This title then read many of the Yahudim, for the place where Yahushua was crucified was near to the city.
Near to the
city.
city.
In Nabarim, Greek, and Latin.
Mm-hmm.
Then said the chief priest of the
What they
Yahudim
said?
to Pilate, write not the king of the Yahudim,
But he said, I
am king of the Yahudim.
Pilate answered,
what I have written, I have written.
Nigga, I said what I said, nigga. Come on.
Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Yahushua, took his garment
And made what?
4 parts.
To every
soldier a part.
And his
also his coat. Now the coat was without seam,
woven
from the top throughout.
Then they said, therefore, among themselves,
let us not rend it.
Because what?
Lots for it.
Whose it shall be?
That the scripture might be fulfilled.
They parted.
My raiment among them.
And my vesture.
They did cast lots.
These things.
Therefore the soldiers did.
Now this is what we here for. Now there stood.
By the stake of Yahushua's mother.
And his mother's
sister.
The Mary.
Of Cleopas.
And Mary who?
Magdalene.
See, that's what people say. See, that was his wife. That's why she was there. Do you understand the level of torment this going on in the city, man? Do you not understand that this man cast out 7 unclean spirits out of her? You think she might not be present?
When Yahushua therefore saw his mother and the disciple standing by whom he loved, he said unto his mother, Woman, behold your son.
And then he said to the disciple,
Behold your mother.
And from that
hour, the disciple took her unto his own.
Listen, it's been a long time since we talked about that. People who've been here for a season, they already know the answer to this. Why did he give his mama to the disciple whom he loved? Why did he do that? For those of you who don't answer a lot, or who ain't been around here as long, I'd like for you to try to answer that based off your understanding. Why he gave his mama to this man? My God, today. I need to get my hair braided. I finally got to get a tape off. That doggone mustache here on the side be curly, but I don't like that junk. Real. That junk aggravating. Don't hear me? I hate that junk. We don't get no Tom Selleck mustaches over here. Why did Yahushua give his mama to the disciple whom he loved? Why did he do that? Because we're going to get to the gifts and sacrifices the Lord allowed tomorrow. But why did he do that? Because of the priestly nature he was inheriting to fulfill the Ruach of prophecy. And those are acceptable. I want to see anybody get specific with it. Can you get down and dirty with it? He said Melchizedek. But do you have anything? No, I'm asking too much. Come on. Hebrews 7:1. That Monte and Marvin hit the nail on it.
For this Melchizedek, king of Salem, priest of the Most High Alahym, who met Abraham returning from the slaughter of the kings and baruched him, to whom also Abraham gave a 10th part of all, first being by interpretation king of righteousness, and after that also king of Salem, which is king of Shalom, father without mother,
without who?
Without father, without mother,
and without whatever,
without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life.
Pause. Tell them what no descent is. We talked about this before, not too long ago, actually. I'd be saying not too long ago. That junk might have been months ago. I'll just show you how bad my mind is. Now, I said he had no father and no who?
No mother.
This is how you know that Joseph wasn't his daddy. Because why he didn't give Joseph away? Come on, man.
That's a genealogic Lagatos. That's one whose descent there is no record of without genealogy.
There's no record anywhere in the text of a genealogy that pertains to Melchizedek, the priest of the Most High Alahym. Ain't he got no genealogy in here. We can read Matthew 1 and Matthew 14 and Luke 3, that according to the flesh that Yahushua had a genealogy. But when that man resurrected from the dead, he ain't had no father, no mother, and no genealogical record. Ain't no descent. Who is mama then? Well, I'm talking. See, read me Luke 24 and 44. No, not 44. My bad. Not 44. Luke 24 and 36. Not 44.
And as they thus spake, Yahushua himself stood in the midst of them and said unto them, Shalom unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted and supposed that they had seen a ruach.
Seen a who?
A ruach. He said unto them, why are you troubled?
Why are you scared?
Why do thoughts arise in your hearts?
What else coming in your mind?
Behold my hands and my feet, that to desire myself.
Handle me.
And see, for a ruach had not flesh and bone.
A who?
A ruach had
a who?
A ruach.
A who?
A ruach.
Ruachs ain't got no genealogy, cuz. Who is mama? When he resurrected from the dead, who's his mama? Whose womb did he come out of? Who's his father? Whose seed did he descend from? In order to ascend to the priesthood of Melchizedek, he can't have father or mother. Which means if he doesn't have father or mother, there's no genealogical record for him to descend from. Meaning, give me John 1 and 12. Because see, this is showing you in the aspects of the tree of life, you did. Which is what the priesthood of Melchizedek is all about, which the priesthood of Aaron could never do. He said Christ was the beloved son of the Lord, so with his mother, the Lord shared. Oh, no, you talking about something else, but that's a little different. That ain't why he gave his mama away. That's why you also know, and of course, you know, Zechariah 12 and say, you know, the house of Nathan apart, the house of David apart, the wives separate from their husband. That's why the women was over there and their husband wasn't with them. You can find that in Zechariah 12. You can read that on your own time. You know what I'm talking about? So when you look at this in this aspect, that's why you don't see him giving, because remember Galatians 4 and 1 tell you what, that he was born of a woman, correct? You know what I'm talking about? He did not give Joseph away. In order for him to be the priesthood of Melchizedek, he can't have father or mother. Now we know from Genesis chapter 2 that the heavens is the genealogical record of those whose names are written in heaven. So listen, John 1 and 12.
But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Alahym, to them that believe on his name, which are born not of blood.
Which are what?
Born
not of who?
Not of blood.
Not of?
Nor of the will of the flesh.
Nor the
will of man.
But of?
Alahym.
So that means when you born of the word, who your mom and daddy is then? Meaning when you resurrect from the dead as the son of God, or if you are alive at his coming and you meet him in the sky and you are changed, who your mom and daddy? Where your genealogical record at? You don't have one because you will be born of the word in the framework and image of the son of Alahym, the priest after the order of Melcizedek, which means that that would be after the workings of the tree of life, because you would be what? Living for what? Ever. Which means you would be in the image of who? Alahym. You understand? This is why you have to pick up on that. That's why he gave his mama away. Read 19 and 25 again. Listen to what he said.
Now there stood by the stake of Yahushua his mother and his mother's sister, Mary of Cleophas and Mary Magdalene. Yahushua therefore saw his mother, and the disciple standing by, whom he loved. He said unto his mother, Woman, behold your son.
He's standing out here telling this woman, behold your son. But listen.
Then say,
hold on, listen. This woman had other sons. Y'all do know that, right? James was his brother. This man had others. This woman had other sons. Excuse me. This woman had other sons. This woman had other children. He said, woman, behold your who?
Your son.
And what he told John?
Behold your mother.
And from that day, he did what with her?
The disciple took her unto his own.
He took her to his own. She got a husband. From that day forward, John said, that's my mama. He treated her as such. Now ask yourself, how could a man give his mama away? How many of you read that? Did you ever ask yourself, why did he do that? You thought that was just randomly in there? That's what people lead us to believe. You know what I'm talking about? Hold on, I didn't see what Darius said. He said, for you. That's right, indeed. For you have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you've received the ruach of adoption, where you cry, Abba, Father, because now you're just like him. So this is when he's still in the flesh. And he gives us, because in reality, according to I ain't got no genealogical tie to Joseph. I'm talking in a literal sense. Because he's a Alahym, he's not a seed of Joseph. You understand? So when he resurrects from the dead, there's no father and mother. This is how he can fit this priesthood. So that you can fit this priesthood. Why? Because he said this is a spiritual priesthood, like we were talking previously, that you might make spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Alahym by Yahushua HaMashiach, because you are operating in the office of the Levites, ministering unto the high priest. And therefore, you're operating after a priesthood that is after the power of what? Endless life. The priesthood of Aaron is not after the endless life, because somebody is going to die and replace him. When Aaron died, one of his sons replaced him. You understand what I'm telling you? What's the next thing I need to look at? Go back to Hebrews 7. Read me verse 3.
Without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, but made like unto the son of Alahym, abide a priest continually.
Abide a what?
A priest continually.
Aaron's priesthood, you couldn't abide continually. Come on.
Now consider how great this man unto
Okay,
whom...
that's good. We don't want to talk about no tithes. So listen. When we hear that, you understand? And we make sense of that, if you would. We begin to come to a level of understanding. We begin to come to a level of understanding the contrast between these two priesthoods, and why that contrast is contrasted against those two trees that are in the garden. because they represent these two things. One that is of the flesh and one that is of the ruach. One that kills and one that makes alive. The priesthood of Aaron could not make you alive. So we looked at, and not as in-depthly as we could have, because some of the stuff we recently just dealt with. So you look at Melchizedek being king and priest. You read Genesis 49 and you see that set up. You read Isaiah 30, Genesis 49, 8 to 10, if you would. You read Isaiah 33 and 22 and you see priesthood of Melchizedek. You read Zechariah 6 and 9 to about verse 12, you see the priesthood of Melchizedek. You go look in Ezekiel chapter 43, 44, 45, and 46, you see the priesthood of Melchizedek. You read Jeremiah 23, and you see how that branch, which is the same branch that's mentioned in Zechariah, so to let you know that this is going to be the priesthood of Melchizedek. You read Psalms 110, and he said, you'll be a priest forever. That boy said, he didn't. I need us to. And you see the priesthood of Melchizedek. And you understand, what does Melchizedek mean? Well, Civic already told you. It means what? Interpreted king of righteousness, king of peace. That's what it's interpreted as. You know what I'm talking about? And you run over here and you look it up in Genesis 14 and 18, and you see Melchizedek. And what do you see? My king is Zedek, or my king is righteous. You know what I'm talking about? And why is your king righteous? Because of faith. You know what I'm talking about? You have to understand something. He say, read Psalms 110 and 4. Just so you can see what he's doing now. To understand why this is a priesthood of faith, which is why it ties to the tree of life, which is why it ties to a commandment of endless life. Listen to what he's saying.
Yahuwah have sworn and
he did. Hold on. You can't run past that. Yahuwah have what?
Have sworn
and done what else?
And will not repent.
And what else?
You a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek.
Well, Yahuwah made an oath with that man. That's why he's my king is righteous. That's an oath. That means you gotta trust in Alahym with that. That man swore on his name. He said that Yahuwah live. He swore on his name. See, let me show you why I say that. Hebrews 6 and give me verse. Yeah, give me verse 12, man. Hebrews 6 and 12. We're finna get y'all out of here, man. It's 11:43.
Say that you be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises.
I heard that.
For when Alahym made a promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater.
Because he could swear by no what?
No greater.
No what?
No greater.
Who he swore by?
He swore by himself.
Praise God. Come on.
Saying, surely blessing, I will bless you, and multiplying, I will multiply you. And so after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise.
As he patiently what?
Endured, he obtained the promise.
Ain't that what happened with Mashiach? Come on.
For men truly swear by the greater.
Truly swear by the what?
By the greater.
Listen to what he's saying.
And an oath for confirmation.
An oath for confirmation.
To them an end of all strife.
Ain't no arguing with that, baby. Listen.
Wherein Alahym willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed by an oath.
Confirmed by what?
By an oath.
Ain't that what he just did? He confirmed by an oath. You could trust that. Listen.
That by two immutable things.
It is impossible
for Alahym to lie, he might have strong consolation.
Strong consolation.
Who had fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us.
So you don't understand. Now you see why Mashiach had such a strong consolation to do what he did. Man, my father done swore to me in the oath, and he can't swear by no greater, so he swore by himself. That's why my king is righteous. That's why Melchizedek mean that. Because your king is righteous because he believes in what the man promised him. See, the law is not of promise. That's why there's no life in it. Not that doesn't mean, that means we ain't going to keep it. Well, hey, man, you already didn't want to keep it, so that's why you heard that. See, you cycled that through your flesh. You can say that, Joseph. He said it's two immutable things congruent to 2 or 3 witnesses. You can say that if you would. Tell them what immutability or immutable means in the Greek. That's a reasonable assertion. Mm-hmm.
of meta thetos, that's not transposed, not to be transferred, fixed, unalterable.
Can't change it. It's two things you know that can't be changed. The Alahym is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of Adam that he should repent. If he said it, shall he not do it? You can't make who a lie if you wanted to. My God, today. Come on.
Which we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast.
Sure and steadfast, baby.
And which enter into that within the veil,
where
the forerunner is for us entered, Yahushua made a high priest
after the order of what?
Melchizedek.
Now you see how he ended that, telling you that Yahushua, that's a forerunner to Yahushua, because he swore to him the same thing. That's why my king is righteous, because he has a forerunner of knowing that this man will not lie in the things that he has sworn. And he swore that he would make him a priest after this order. You understand what I'm saying? That's why that's important. That's how you know how that priesthood is tied to the tree of life. That's how you know that priesthood is tied to the power of endless life, that the priesthood of Aaron could never be tied to, that the tree of knowledge of good and evil could never be tied to. Does that mean the knowledge of good and the tree of knowledge of good and evil is bad? No, God forbid. Didn't it say in the law it was good? But the tree of life is greater. Is the priesthood of Aaron bad? No, he said it's good, but the priesthood of Melchizedek is greater. We'll conclude this evening with 2 Corinthians 3:1 with this point. It's fourth as it pertains to this contrast. Let Yahuwah be esteemed.
Do we begin again to commend ourselves, or need we, as some, epistles of commendation to you, or letters of commendation from you? You are our epistle, yea, are our epistle written in our hearts, known and read of all men.
Known and read of all men.
Manifestly declared to be the epistle of Mashiach, ministered by us, written now with ink, but the Ruach of the living Alahym.
That's right.
Not in tables of stone, but in fleshy tables of the heart. And such trust have we through Mashiach to Alahym word, not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything out of ourselves, but our sufficiency of Alahym.
Is our Alahym.
Who also have made us able ministers of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Ruach. For the letter killed, but the Ruach gave life.
Now it's showing you the contrast. Continue.
But if the ministration of death, written and graven in stones, was esteemed, so that the children of Yasharah could not steadfastly behold the face of Moses for the esteem of his countenance, which was to be done away, how shall not the ministration of the Ruach be rather esteemed? For if the ministration of condemnation esteemed, much more do the ministration of righteousness exceed in esteem.
That's it. That just means the tree of life is greater. The priesthood of Melchizedek is greater. It's greater. That doesn't mean the tree of knowledge of good and evil is bad. It doesn't mean the law is bad. It doesn't mean the priesthood of Aaron is bad. It just means if this is honorable, then this is greater than that which is honorable. That's all it means. Like people get so bent out of shape because you hate the Christian church so bad. This ain't got nothing to do with them. I don't care what they taught, how it doesn't matter. You can't get life from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The law has shown you that. Stop thinking the tree of knowledge of good and evil is something so strange and out of the way. It is simply just the law, statutes, and commandments, because if you break them, you die. No one can go in Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, or Deuteronomy and find a single law that can give you life. You can't find one. It ain't there, because that's not its purpose. Why? Life is with who? Yahuwah. That's where life is at. That's why he kept the tree of life to himself. You notice he didn't keep the tree of knowledge of good and evil from you. And guess what people say? Well, why if he ain't wanted to put that tree there? Why did they do? Why? Come on with all that, man. Stop it. You could have just trusted in God. You didn't want to do that. So it is what it is. But now he done gave you access to the thing that he kept from you. That's why you see that that faith was shut up until the time that it was revealed. Now you can get to the tree of life. Ain't no cherubims with no swords guarding now, baby. Now you can actually take from this tree and live forever in the state that you in. And you can overcome sin and death through faith in Mashiach. Simple. And that faith is administered to the priesthood of Melchizedek, for that my king is righteous. And why is your king righteous? Because my flesh rests in hope that you will not suffer your Kadash one to see corruption. because you swore to me in an oath that I would be a priest after this order. You swore to me that I would be your son. This day have I begotten you. Ask of me, and I will give you the heathen for your inheritance. Every promise that you made, you fulfilled it. I believed it. Therefore, I hung from a tree. They took me down, and on the third day, I rose again to give life unto all those that obey me, because the captain of your salvation has been made perfect. Simple. It's not hard. Man makes it hard. You know what I'm talking about? Man makes the word of Alahym difficult because he wants to put his thoughts, comments, and concerns on the righteousness of Alahym. You don't have to do all of that. This thing not supposed to be difficult for us to master and understand. And that's why, as we read earlier, and I've told you for 12 years, you need to be listening to the voice of the shepherd. He said, my sheep hear my voice and they follow me. You ain't supposed to get caught up on who the preacher is, who this person is, or anything of the sort. You need to be listening for the voice of the shepherd. If you don't hear the voice, remember, in the book of Hosea, he said, I will speak comfortably to them. That word comfortably is leb. I will speak to the inward man. If that word is not speaking to your inward man, well, that's not from God, cuz. He said, I will draw you with loving kindness. He said that, man, how beautiful are the feet of them upon the mountains that publish good tidings, that publish shalom, that say unto Zion, your Alahym has dominion. That's what's supposed to be being published. That's how you listen to the voice of your shepherd, because the voice of your shepherd is the one who is directing you. The preacher is not directing you. The preacher is setting in order many proverbs that your faith and hope might be in Alahym. Because he's going to be constantly pointing you back to God, back to Yahuwah, back to the Father. If they're not doing that, that's not of God, cuz. Stop telling me you don't know who's of God and who ain't. The man done gave you the game. How long this man gonna keep giving you the game and you just ignoring it? He said, and that statement is the gospel. For the most part, young man. For the most part. Come on, good sir.
Verse 10.
Come on. Verse 10.
Say, for even that which was made esteemed had no esteem in this respect, by reason of the esteem that excelled. For that which is done away esteemed, much more that which remained.
He said, if that which is done away is honorable and to be praised, how much more than that which is coming? That's right, bro. Come on.
Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness.
He said, since we have such batak, we use great plainness of speech.
And not as Moses, which put a veil over his face, like the children of the Asherah could not steadfastly look to the end.
They couldn't see to the end.
That which is abolished. But their minds were blinded, for until this day remain the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which is done away in Mashiach.
That's right.
But even until this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their heart. Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away.
That's why a lot of these boys going to hell, because the veil's still on their lap. They can't see. They can't get to the mercy seat. They can't get to the high priest. My God, today. Come on.
Now the Lord is that Ruach, and where the Ruach of the Lord,
there's what?
Liberty.
They don't want that freedom. That's good for now. Give me Matthew 13:47. We out.
Again, the kingdom of Shamayim is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full,
amen, man,
they drew to shore and sat down, gathered the good into vessels, but cast the bad away.
Cast the what?
The bad away.
Listen.
So shall it be at the end of the world. The Melcizedek shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just. Shall cast them into the furnace of fire.
There shall be weeping
and gnashing of teeth. God shall say unto them, have you understood all these things?
Have you understood all these things?
And say unto him, yea, Lord.
Hallelujah for Yahushua and the word. You know what I'm talking about? Amen, man. Absolutely. I appreciate y'all's time this evening. And I bless y'all the house of Alahym in the name of Yahushua. Y'all willing, man, we'll make that delineation from Leviticus chapter 16 with that Day of Atonement because, yes, sir, Brother Nate, because the Day of Atonement is what's mentioned more specifically in Hebrews 9 and 10, and a little bit in Hebrews 8. You know what I'm saying? Hebrews 9's got atonement, more specifically Hebrews 10, and Jeremiah 31 in it. You know what I'm saying? Peace, Brother Omar. So we're going to swing and look at that to see that delineation. Of course, you remember what Jubilee that's done on atonement. You know that atonement is mentioned for reconciliation. Peace, Brother Joseph, man. Amen, Yedadiah. True. Praise you. You know what I'm talking about? So we're going to look at that because, again, we're contrasting the tree of knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life against the high priesthood of Aaron and the priesthood of Melchizedek. The priesthood of Melchizedek represents the tree of life. The priesthood of Aaron represents the tree of knowledge and good and evil. One is after carnal commandment. One is after commandment of endless life. You know what I'm saying? So you can see the contrast between the two and the execution thereof. You know what I'm saying? And then that way we can gain a level of insight of faith versus the law and how faith is greater. Because what people don't realize why faith is greater, because Yahuwah is greater than the law. Faith represents Yahuwah. I don't know why that's so hard for people to understand. Peace, brother. Faith represents Yahuwah. There's no way in the world you're going to tell me that the law is greater than Yahuwah. Because if you tell me that, I tell you you're a fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't even make sense. No, it makes sense. But like I said, man, so many people, you got such hatred for the church that anything that pertains to trust in Yahuwah, you don't seem to understand or grasp that. That's unfortunate. That is completely and totally unfortunate. I pray for you because you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Yes, ma'am, Mika. Yeah, you got a problem. He said, since we see the perfect temple in the Mashiach, does Hamashiach become the perfect measurements the Father was looking for instead of? Yeah, for the most part. The connection is really helping me see. But praise you, brother. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, so that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We haven't really taken a delve in the, because I'm going to tell y'all something for those of y'all who ain't been around here for a while, because you know y'all will the trumpets, atonement, and tabernacles is coming. So I know a lot of brothers, when those feast days come, they tend to deal with lessons, topics, sermons, whatever they want to call them, classes, whatever the case may be, pertaining specifically to that feast day. And it kind of be redundant because they say the same thing every year. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? What we actually do is whatever we was dealing with, that's what we're going to deal with. Now, the reason why is because atonement, tabernacle, trumpet, unleavened bread, focus, feast day type teachings, we've already done them. So when I say we've already done them, they on the channel. You know what I'm saying? Now you'd have to, you know what I'm saying? Well, I know you can filter stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, so and you could be able to find those. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, and that's the main reason why we don't do that, because you can go back and look at atonement 15, 16, 17, 18, whatever the case may be, and you can find that specific, like this is focused on what Day of Atonement is, what it's about, how it pertains to Mashiach. You know what I'm saying? Him fulfilling that, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Because you just don't want to be turning around and, well, it's atonement, so we got to talk about this. You know what I'm saying? No, we just keep on rolling, or whatever it is that we rolling about. I say there's 3 channels. Jesus for True Freedom, one with my name on it. I don't think it's too many feast days videos on the one with my name on it. And then this one. You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, we read that earlier, bro. Definitely. So yeah, that's what I said with that. So now, if you want information about it outside of looking for a video, all you gotta do is holler at me. And it's not like I'm gonna be like, no, nigga, go watch a video if you call me. I'm not gonna tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Now I may be able to find the video and send it to you after the fact if you want to look at it. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm not gonna. You don't have to be like, well, he said go find the video. Nah, bro, you could call me. I'll explain it to you. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't take advantage of that, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't tell you, yeah, you can holler at me if you about whatever, and then you don't do it. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I got to say about that. All I can do is make myself available. If you don't take advantage of that, that's on you. And that's it. You know what I'm talking about? That's on you. I ain't got nothing else to say about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I can't guarantee what time I'm gonna be to the house on a day-to-day basis. But if you was like, hey man, I'm gonna pull up on you, what time you gonna be home? Yeah, you can pull up on me about the word, but I ain't gonna tell you, no, they don't go to my house. I'm not gonna tell you that. And y'all niggas should know that by now. So if you don't take advantage of that, that's on you. That's all I can tell you. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can tell you. Now I can tell you, if it's a video that you want to see and find, Darius is probably the most adept person at digging them out and finding them. I can tell you that. You know what I'm talking about? Because I don't really go through the channel like that. To be honest with you. I don't even think that I've actually sat back and watched any video that we've ever posted. Because to me, it's weird to be sitting here looking at myself or listening to myself. It's not. Once the video is done, bro, that's junk over with for me. You know what I'm saying? It's over with for me. I don't go back and listen to nothing. My mind is on to the, well, like Bill Belichick like to say, we're on to Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? We're on to Cincinnati. It's just how my mind works. Guess I'm weird when it comes to that. So that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. So again, I bless y'all the house of Alahym in the name of Yahshua. I appreciate y'all. And I love y'all, man. Y'all keep standing. Hold on to your faith, man. Be encouraged. And you know, yes, man, love you too, man. Listen, and don't get caught up with the folly. Don't get caught up with the folly. You know what I'm saying? Let people be stupid. You know, stupid people is like dead people, man. Neither one of them know it. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, man, let that be what it be. You know what I mean? Y'all willing to know till tomorrow.